So some of these Pokedex entries will be pretty lackluster. Some of them will be fucking insane. So alls we can really do is just kind of take it with a grain of salt. I'm gonna try and push through as much as we can without taking forever, but you know, sometimes these things tend to take a little bit longer than we need to. As always, of course, without a doubt, the first Pokemon that we are going to go through is going to be Bulbasaur, number 111, or not 111, that's actually completely false, I just lied to you, but you get what I mean. Bulbasaur's Pokedex entries are kind of lackluster. This is exactly what I mean. A strange seed was planted on its back at birth, and the plant sprouts and grows with this Pokemon, which is kind of interesting. It can go days without eating a single morsel. In the bulb on its back, it stores energy. It's like a plant. It uses photosynthesis. But yeah, other than that, this doesn't really say much about its actual level of power, and you know, it's a pretty strong Pokemon. I don't know if it would ever be able to destroy an actual building though, so I'd probably just put Bulbasaur on the weak side for now. Bulbasaur would be pretty fucking strong, probably. You could get Bulbasaur to level 100. I don't know if its Vine Whip is destroying an entire building though, realistically. If it's just, you know, a small little thing with a plant growing on its back here. But we can check out the Ivysaur version and see if there's anything new to learn here. When the bulb on its back grows large, it appears to lose the ability to stand on its hind legs. Damn, so it gets too fat. It has to walk on all fours now. It can't walk on its own 2 feet. Yeah, to support its bulb, Ivysaur's legs grow sturdy. Spends more time lying in the sunlight. Bulb starts swelling and exposure to sunlight adds to its strength. Nothing cool. Isn't Bulbasaur a frog? I really don't know. I don't know what type of animal you would consider a Bulbasaur. Maybe a frog? I think it's supposed to be a dinosaur? The plant blooms when it is absorbing solar energy. It stays on the move to seek sunlight. Flower on its back catches the sun rays. The sunlight's absorbed and used for energies. Yeah, large flower. The flower is said to take on vivid colors if it gets plenty of nutrition and sunlight. And the aroma soothes the emotions of people. While I feel like, you know, Venusaur might be able to destroy a building, they're mostly harmless creatures when it comes to the Pokemon world. Are Mega Pokedex entries a thing? We'll get into it. Obviously prefers hot places. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. The flame on its tip of its tail makes a sound as it burns. You can only hear it in quiet places. If it is weak, the flame also burns brightly. Wasn't there like a legend where if Charmander's flame goes out, it fucking dies? That's crazy. Flame on its tail shows the strength of its life force. Yeah, nothing crazy. Only things about you can always hear it in quiet places. When it swings its burning tail, it elevates the temperature to unbearably high levels. It may blow out bluish-white flames. It spouts intense flames, incinerating its surroundings, and when it becomes agitated in battle. It mercilessly destroys its foes using its sharp claws. When it turns aggressive, the flame on its tip of its tail. Okay, we're leveling up here. Without pity, its sharp claws destroy foes, and the flame on its tail flares a bluish-white color, and it can incinerate its surroundings, which is pretty big time. Yeah, 100%. All right. Charmeleon is our first level up. Charmeleon def ain't building, though. I mean, if we're talking it can incinerate its surroundings, why wouldn't it be able to do a building? If it incinerates its surroundings, that implies it can at least incinerate. If it's inside of a building, it might cook that house that it's inside. Hey, listen. I didn't write the Pokédex entry. Blame Professor Oak. You should put human or street level. That's fair. I think that's fair. It would cause a problem for a human or a street, you know? And now we move on to Charizard. Who is he gonna level up a tier? That should be interesting. Spits fire that's hot enough to melt boulders, has been known to cause forest fires unintentionally. When expelling a blast of super hot fire, the red flame at the tip of its tail burns more intensely. Breathing intense hot flames, it can melt almost anything. Its breath inflicts terrible pain on enemies. It uses its wings to fly high, and the temperature of its fire increases as it gains experience. Fire of such great heats that it melts anything. Anything. That's a big thing. I'm willing to put, you know, Charizard at building 110%. He could burn down a whole ass building without fail. I would honestly argue, I mean, forest fire, it's all flammable, you know, material. So you might not be able to burn down a whole city, maybe even multiple buildings, right? But yeah, I think building makes 110% sense. Yeah, if we're saying that it can melt anything, we got to give it at least building, but it might not be able to take down a whole city. If any pyromaniac with a lighter and an aerosol can start a forest fire, you got that right, Prodigy. You definitely got that right. Let's move on to my boy Squirtle. Listen, you know what? Personally, Squirtle is my favorite. I have known to prefer Charizard as I've grown older in life. However, I will say, I think Blastoise is still the coolest one. It's between Blastoise and Charizard for sure. But I've never been a fan of Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's cool. Not my favorite by any means whatsoever. At birth, its back swells and hardens into a shell, and powerfully it can spray foam from its mouth. The shell is soft when it's born. It soon becomes resilient. Prodding fingers will bounce off of it, and if you poke it, it will bounce back out. When it feels threatened, it draws its legs inside its shell and sprays water from its mouth. Help minimize resistance to water so it can swim at high speeds. It squirts out water with vigorous force. I'm willing to believe that Squirtle might be human. Like, you know, if you've ever been sprayed by a high pressure water hose, shit hurts. So yeah, I would definitely say human, you know, human potential for sure. Let's check out Wartortle here. It's known for swimming very fast, and it moves its ears to maintain balance, but its tail will stick out a little bit. It's recognized as a symbol of longevity, making it quite popular among older people. Yeah, Wartortle is like a symbol of loyalty and longevity. I've known that. There's a lot of old farts in the video games that got Wartortles. Not much about it growing in power, though. Its tail is large and covered with a rich, thick fur and becomes increasingly deeper in color as the Wartortle ages. So the scratches on its shell are evidence of this Pokemon's toughness as a battler. Yeah, no, this one, no level up, unfortunately. We're just gonna stick at, you know, human potential based off of its high-pressure water gun. But other than that, let's see if Blastoise can level up. Honestly, Blastoise better be at least building level. A brutal Pokemon with pressurized water jets on its shell. They are used for high-speed tackles. It blasts out water with even more force than a fire hose. Yikes. I don't think it's gonna get any better than human level here, unfortunately, guys. Makes itself so heavy it can withstand the recoil of the water jets it fires. The rocket cannons on its shell fire jets of water capable of punching holes through thick steel. Oh shit, nope, here we go. We leveled up in silver, baby. Through thick steel is crazy. All right, we are definitely at least street level. We aren't destroying an entire building, probably. But we could definitely break through a fucking street. I'll take that. The water spouts are very accurate. They can shoot bullets with enough accuracy to strike empty cans from a distance of over 160 feet. That's actually a pretty fire trait right there. These Pokedex entries are definitely sometimes very interesting. Can punch through thick steel. Yeah, can punch through thick steel is repeatedly mentioned throughout most of its Pokedex entries. The cannon, a Mega Blastoise's cannon on its back is as powerful as a tank gun. God damn. Mega Blastoise is an upgrade, clearly. Next up is Caterpie, which I really don't see Caterpie doing much, right? Its short feet are tipped with suction pads to tirelessly climb slopes and walls and will release a horrible stink to protect itself. That's not even human level. It releases a horrible stench. It can devour leaves bigger than its body. It's like a skunk. It shoots fucking, you know, piss spray. It eats 100 leaves per day. Yeah, that stink is mentioned multiple times. Caterpies are smelly. I didn't know that. Metapod, I've got a pretty good idea how a Metapod can be harmful to a human. Vulnerable to attack while its shell is soft, exposing its weak and tender body. Hardens the shell to protect itself. However, large impact could cause it to pop out of its shell. At this stage, it can only harden. The shell covering this Pokemon's body is as hard as an iron slab. I feel like if you dropped an iron slab on someone's skull, you might be able to hurt them pretty bad. But I don't know if I'd be willing to give that a human level. Iron slab is pretty crazy, but how big is the slab, I guess, is a question. I mean, it might be able to hurt you. Would it kill you? I don't know. It also can't move, so it would have to, like, literally be an accident. Like, it would have to be a prank. Someone would have to drop the Metapod on you, right? And also, a large impact could cause it to pop out of its shell. So, yeah, no. I'm gonna go ahead and say a Metapod is mostly harmless, you know, unless you fuck with it. Or unless someone fucks with you, I should say. Does Butterfree change things? Should I be worried if I ever see a Butterfree in my everyday life? In battle, it flaps its wings at high speed to release highly toxic dust into the air. Well, there you go. Fuck, it's gonna make me sick with the poisonous powders that repel water. It allows it to fly in rain. The rain doesn't even protect me from Butterfree is crazy. The fact that it can fly in rain is wild. The highly toxic dust is rough. It's like a bee, but if you go near it, it will fucking put you to sleep or poison you. Definitely an issue to humans. Not a problem. Not good. Butterfrees could probably kill you. On accident, most likely. They're probably pretty peaceful creatures, but you wouldn't want to come across one and accidentally not realize that it has the potential to do so. Are we going to include megas? We'll get to megas when we get to that generation. I think that's fair. Or we can do like a separate megas tier list on its own. We'll do all the megas after we get to that generation. I think that's fair. So we've got Weedle, which I think actually Weedle might be harmful to humans just because it's poisonous if it stabs you. Often found in forests and eating leaves, it has a sharp, venomous stinger on its head. Beware of the sharp stinger on its head. It hides in grass and bushes where it eats leaves. Yep, exactly. A 2-inch poison barb and can usually be found under leaves where it eats. Damn, you just step on this thing and you're cooked. That would be unfortunate. Weedle is harmful to humans just on sight, compared to Caterpie, which just makes you smell bad. I've always personally enjoyed Beedrill over Butterfree myself, but is this just going to be the same as Metapod? The Kakuna? Is Kakuna going to be lower than its pre-evolve? It might. Almost incapable of moving, it can only harden its shell to protect itself from predators. When endangered, it can stick out its stinger and poison its enemy. Nope, it can still sting and poison you. Kakuna remains virtually immobile as it clings to a tree. However, on the inside, it is extremely busy as it prepares for its coming evolution. This is evident from how hot the shell becomes to the touch. It seems kind of unclear. Although it is a cocoon, it can extend its poison barb if attacked. It does say that in Heart Gold. It may stick out its stinger and poison its enemy. Let's go, Pikachu. Yes, actually, yes. So Kakuna is still human, still issue to humans. And if I had to guess, I would probably imagine Beedrill is the same. I don't know if Beedrill is gonna level up to like street level. Yeah, but isn't it hot? Hey, listen, whatever you're into is what you're into. I don't judge on sexuality. Let's see. Flies at high speed and attacks using its large venomous stinger. It has 3 poison stingers on its 4 legs and its tail. They're used to jab its enemy repeatedly. No one should ever approach its nest. It's for its own safety. Flies at violent speeds, all while stabbing with a toxic stinger on its rear. I don't know if it can hurt a street, though. Might just be still human level. That's what I thought. I was right. That's what I thought. I was right. We've got Pidgey up next. And I don't know what the Pidgey line will look like. As we get further and further into this Kanto Pokedex, I feel like things are gonna get crazier. Because right now we're just at the starting Pokemon, right? Like, that's also important to remember. A common sight in forests and woods, it can flap its wings at ground level to kick up blinding sand. Very docile if attacked, it will often kick up sand to protect itself rather than fight back. It usually hides in tall grass, dislikes fighting, and protects itself by kicking up sand. Very docile, chase off enemies by flapping sand. So it doesn't seem like it's actually too dangerous for humans. It's just gonna kick sand up instead of fight you. So actually, Pidgey's gonna be harmless. Yeah, I'm gonna put Pidgey at harmless. Even though Pidgey could peck you, it's probably not too big of a deal. I mean, Ivysaur could probably, smack you with the whip, but it's not really going to, right? Mini lore behind each Pokemon really gives them those extra characteristics. It's true. Again, stuff that you don't really get in the game. You can read the Pokédex, but you only really see, battles. You don't see the other aspects of the Pokemon. Let's see, Pidgeotto. Very protective of its sprawling territory, this Pokemon will fiercely peck at any intruder. It constantly flies around its large territory in search of prey. It has outstanding vision, and however high it flies, it's able to distinguish the moves of its prey. It carries prey more than 60 miles to its nest with its well-developed claws. Patrols its living space, and if its territory is violated, it shows no mercy in thoroughly punishing the foe with its sharp claws. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say human level for sure. It's not willing. It's not afraid to throw hands if you get in its space, and it has great eyesight to see you all around the area, so you can't hide from it either. I'm definitely gonna say Pidgeottos could be a threat to humans. Pidgeyline's just gonna be upgrade after upgrade. Hey, let's see. Let's look at what Pidgeot is going on with. I feel like Pidgeot, unless you ever hear it get said in real life or in the anime or cartoon or whatever, like, you're never gonna know how to spell it, because I feel like I said Pidgeot my whole life and then I found out it was Pidgeot. It's just a weird final name. Just my 2 cents, you know. I feel like we should have came up with something different, but fuck it. Pidgeot is always on my team if I'm, you know, replaying Leaf Green or going through a Kanto run. When hunting, it skims the surface of water at high speed to pick off unwary prey, such as Magikarp. It can fly at Mach 2 speed. Whew. Large talons are feared as wicked weapons, and it can whip up a gusty windstorm with just a few flaps. It can fly at Mach 2 speed. It can, you know, use precision to spot splashing Magikarp even while it's up in the air at 3,300 feet. It races through the skies. I think with Mach 2 speed, that's about as fast as any bullet would be. So I'm going to be willing to actually give Pidgeot street level, even though it would probably fucking hurt, you know? Its beak might, you know, break. If it's going high speed at full velocity, it could probably break through a street. Basically just like a massive bullet. It would put a hole through the street, just like any bullet would put a hole through the street, you know? So yeah, Mach 2 is about as fast as the fastest bullet. So definitely an issue for humans without a doubt. Probably, you know, give or take. I don't know if it would be full street level. I might be glazing Pidgeot a little too much. Maybe, but still, street level. I don't care if it's glazed. Sue me. Rattata def gonna be at least human. Hey, let's see. Rattata's next. Bites anything when it attacks. Well, there you go right there. Will chew on anything with its fangs, and if you see one, it is certain that 40 more live in the area. Holy shit. So it's almost like if you see one, you're always going up against fucking a whole pack. I think that's important to note. Like, you're never just going up against one Rattata, right? Like, you're always dealing with a whole pack of them. It eats anything wherever food is available. It will settle down and produce offspring continuously, and they be fucking ceaselessly scavenges for edibles the entire day. Rattata is cautious in the extreme. Even while it's asleep, it constantly listens by moving its ears around, and it's not picky about where it lives. Left unchecked, their numbers multiply rapidly. Well, I think the issue with Rattata in general is that, like, it says right here, if you see one, it is almost certain there are 40 more that live in the area, and they also produce offspring continuously and rapidly. So, like, I'm willing to say, like, I'm willing to put human for Rattata. They could definitely fuck a human up, you know, if you fucking bite its eye out or something. And also, again, with the fact that, like, if you see one, you're almost always dealing with at least 40, and they're willing to bite anything in its territory, and they're not afraid to set up anywhere. You can constantly deal with them, and yeah. Imagine getting jumped by 40 steroid rats. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, absolutely not. Human level without a doubt. And I want to see if Raticate is a big upgrade. It uses its whiskers to help maintain balance, and it apparently slows down if they're cut off. Its hind feet are webbed, and they act as flippers, so it can swim in rivers and hunt for prey. It can even topple concrete buildings by gnawing on them. Holy, well, I mean, there you go right there. Oof. New York would be doomed. Yeah, 110%. That's wild. It can fucking topple buildings by gnawing on them. Its fangs never stop growing, so it gnaws to pare them down. It can chew apart cinder walls. This surprisingly violent Pokemon can gnaw away even thick concrete with ease. It may even chew on the walls of houses. Don't let your hand get too close, as it could bite your hand clean off. No matter how friendly you are, it will get angry and bite you if you touch its whiskers. That's wild. I did not expect that Raticate would be building level. That's crazy. The Pokemon world is wild. That, like, you've got Blastoise, Charmeleon, and Pidgeot here, and then you've got Raticate, who's toppling buildings just because it's just chewing through it. It literally is the cartoon meme of the rat just chewing through the bottom of the building till it's the tiny little thing, and then it's just... Next up is Spearow, I believe. Spearow, it has to flap its short wings at high speed to stay airborne, inept at flying high, but it can fly around very fast to protect its territory. Plucks insects with its stubby beak, and its short wings busily flap to dart around at high speed. Has a very loud cry that can be heard over half a mile away, and they can warn each other of danger from afar. It's frail, but it can be a tough foe that uses Mirror Move. That's a good point. Using its beak, it searches in the grass for prey. It moves about and hardly pecks at bug-type Pokemon. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it should be at least human level, especially like you said, if it's got fucking mirror move. Yeah, I'm willing to put Spearow at human level because it says it's willing to protect its territory and fight even up against larger Pokemon, compared to Pidgey that is strictly said to always avoid fighting and flap dust in the air and try to escape, right? So definitely, I think difference. Then we've got Fearow. With its huge and magnificent wings, it can keep aloft without ever having to land for rest. It's a Pokemon that dates back many years, and if it senses danger, it flies high and away instantly. It shoots itself high into the sky, then plummets down in one fell swoop to strike its prey. It uses its thin, long beak to pluck and eat small insects that hide underground. It has a surprisingly long reach. It can remain flying a whole day without landing. Damn, it's got stamina, bro. Yeah, it has the stamina to fly all day on its broad wings. It fights by using its sharp beak, conveniently shaped for catching prey in soil or water. I'm gonna go ahead and say Fearow probably stays at human level, probably doesn't level up to street. Nothing major that would make me think it has readily leveled up to street level. But could definitely like stab a human without a doubt. Let's move on to Ekans, who I'm going to have to imagine, based off of being poison type, is just going to base level be human level without a doubt, right? Just because it's poison, it can kill you with its poison, obviously. Moves silently and stealthily. It eats the eggs of birds such as Pidgey and Spearow whole. Damn, rest in peace, the Spidgey and Spearow brothers and sisters everywhere. Damn, pour one out for the homies without a doubt. It can freely detach its jaw to swallow large prey whole. Woof. It wraps its long body around tree branches to rest. I'm sure it could probably wrap its body around humans to suffocate them. It flicks its tongue in and out to sense danger in its surroundings. It curls itself up in a spiral while it rests, and this position allows it to quickly respond to an enemy from any direction. It can sneak through the grass without any sound or strike. So its bite is painful, but when first born, it has no poison. Okay, but it gets poison over time. When first born, it has no poison. The older it gets, the longer it grows. Yeah, the silent killer, definitely at least a human. When it's born, it has no poison, but it obviously it gets poison over time. It's rumored that the ferocious warning markings on its belly differ from area to area. The frightening patterns on its belly have been studied, and 6 different variations have been confirmed. It binds and poisons its frightened victims. It won't give up the chase no matter how far. Damn, it says it's on sight. The moment it sees you and wants to kill you, no matter how far you run away from it, it's following you, which is that's just trash. Animals like that are just awful. It will follow you to the ends of the fucking earth to kill you now. Damn. It can even flatten steel oil drums with the constriction of its body. It can even flatten steel oil drums I feel like that's at least street level, right? I feel like, right? If we can flatten steel, I think we should at least be street level. If we can get through steel, we should be able to break through concrete, right? Arbok actually does level up to street level. Maybe building level, but I don't know if an Arbok would completely wrap around an entire building or a house, you know. I would have to say that's definitely my difference. While I would say that, you know, maybe possible, I think the steel oil drum is like, you know, its size probably matters a great deal too. Whereas Raticate is small, but it can chew through a whole fucking building and topple it. You know, there's the difference, I think. Maybe a Gigantamax one, but a regular one is a fair point. Yeah, I mean, again, if anyone wants to contest these points and say someone should be higher than the other, I wouldn't be too mad. This is all for good fun, you know. I'm just surprised some of these Pokemon are actually getting as high as they are. Pikachu Lightning should probably be base human level, I would guess. When several of these Pokemon gather, their electricity can build and cause lightning storms is wild. If you yoink its tail, it will try to bite you. It immediately discharges the enemies stored in its pouches and in the pouches of its cheeks when it's angered. Whenever Pikachu comes across something new, it blasts it with a jolt of electricity. If you come across a blackened berry, it's evidence this Pokemon mistook the intensity of its charge. The electric power is equal to a lightning bolt. Well, I mean, that would tell me that it's street level, right? If it doesn't get enough sleep, it will only be able to use weak electricity. But I think if we're comparing Pikachu to a lightning bolt, would a lightning bolt destroy a street? I think that's a genuine question. A lightning bolt could definitely damage a street, potentially causing cracks, craters, or even explosions, especially if it strikes a wet area or spot with underground utilities. Oh yeah, 110%. So we're gonna give Pikachu street level. Pikachu insta jumps up to street level, which is crazy. Up next, we've got Raichu, who, if base Pikachu is, you know, street level, I'm going to imagine Raichu is probably about the same, but let's see if it actually gets up more. Its long tail serves as a ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power. When electricity builds up inside of its body, it becomes feisty and it can glow in the dark. It raises its tail to gather electricity from the atmosphere. If it becomes excessively charged, Raichu plants its tail in the ground and discharges, and scorched patches of ground will be found near this Pokemon's nest. Its electric charges can reach even 100,000 volts. Careless contact can cause even an Indian elephant to faint, which is such a weird thing to say. Are we implying that there are Indian elephants in the world of Pokemon? How strong is 100,000 volts of electricity? Not much help with the 100,000. So if electric pouches in its cheeks become fully charged, protecting it from getting shocked when it discharges electricity into the ground, instantly downing foes several times its size with its electricity. I'm gonna say this might actually stay street level, unfortunately. It can discharge bursts of electricity exceeding 100,000 volts. A single strike with this amount of power would incapacitate one of the Caparaja of my homeland. There's the Legends Arceus lore for you. All right, fair. Yeah, no, it looks like Raichu's probably gonna stay street level, not gonna reach building. Which again, the fact that Raticate is building level just still absolutely blows my fucking mind. But we're kind of pushing through this. We definitely gotta try and push a little bit faster. Maybe we're 27 out of 151 so far. Got plenty to go in just one region. We want to at least cover Kanto. So let's see Sandshrew. Burrows deep underground in arid locations far from water. It only emerges to hunt for food. Its body is dry. When it gets cold at night, its hide is said to become coated with a fine dew. Can roll itself instantly into a ball and lives in deep burrows in arid areas. It uses the sand to protect itself when threatened, and it's able to survive in an arid desert. It can roll into a ball that repels any attack. This Sandshrew might actually be pretty harmless. Looks like it just rolls its body up to withstand attacks here. Configured to absorb water without waste, enabling it to survive in an arid desert. It digs holes to catch bug-type Pokemon. Yep, looks like Sandshrew is pretty harmless. For the most part. Wouldn't really worry if we saw a Sandshrew out in the wild. However, Sandslash, though. Honestly, you know what's the craziest thing about all of this? Is Sandshrew and Sandslash are like so short. Like, it's so funny when you play the game, you wouldn't expect Sandshrew and Sandslash to like be like 3 feet tall, but they're like literally the size of like a toddler. Not even, they're so tiny. You forget they're based off of mice. Curls up into a spiny ball when threatened, and it can roll up while curled up to attack or escape. If broken, they start to grow back in a day. It digs at an incredible pace, and it may snap off its spikes and claws, but they grow back in a single day. It rolls into a spiny ball and then attacks its enemies from above. Once a year, those old spikes fall off, and they are replaced with new spikes. It also curls up to prevent heat stroke during the daytime. Pokemon will try to make its foe flinch by jabbing it with its spines. It then leaps at the stunned foe to tear wildly with its sharp claws. I'm going to go ahead and say Sandslash is probably at least, you know, very, very barely, you know, human level. You probably wouldn't want to, you know, get into a fight with one if you don't got any weapons or anything on you. I can see how a Sandslash might be a threat if you're unsuspected. Can it shoot the spikes that can destroy buildings? Might have confused it with another Pokemon. Yeah, I don't see anything about that here. Its sharp spines inflict severe damage, but that's all it really says. Yeah, I don't really see anything about that, but I could be wrong. That might be something that just doesn't show up in the Pokedex entries. Yeah, and it can run around at top speed to kick up a blinding dust storm. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as a, you know, Sandslash might be an issue for humans, but we've got a Nidoran girl version, which it's so funny to me that we have very much evolved past this distinction in Pokemon now, where if you notice, like, now in Pokedex entries, like, you just have the male and female version of the different Pokemon next to each other in the same number, whereas back here we had them separated completely because they had to be different because it's the way that the code worked. They had to make them different people entirely, but now they can just get around that and make them the same unit. So yeah, interesting. But poison type, I'm pretty sure, so should be at least human level base. Although small, its venomous barbs render this Pokemon dangerous. Yep, beware, its small horns secrete venom. Even a tiny scratch can have fatal results of poison. Yeesh. They were thought to have developed as protection for the small-bodied Pokemon. When enraged, it releases a horrible toxin from this horn. While it does prefer not to fight, even one drop of its poison can be fatal. Yep. It uses its hardened scissor teeth to crush and eat berries. The tip of a female Nidorann's horn is a bit more rounded than the tip of a male's horn. Yep, so, just base human level without a doubt. We've got Nidorina. Its horn develops slowly and prefers physical attacks such as clawing and biting. When resting deep in its burrows, its thorns always retract, which is proof that it's relaxed. It emits ultrasonic cries that have the power to befuddle foes, and it prefers the physical attacks like we said. Its barbs are tucked away to prevent injury. When it senses danger, so it looks like Nidorina is just gonna stay at human level as well. Nidoqueen is most likely gonna level up, I would imagine. Its hard scales provide strong protection, and it uses a hefty bulk to execute powerful moves. Tough scales cover the sturdy body of this Pokemon, and it appears that the scales grow in cycles. It never shows signs of shrinking from any attack. It uses its scaly, rugged body to seal the entrance of its nest and protect its young from predators. It is adept at sending foes flying with harsh tackles. This Pokemon is at its strongest when it's defending its young. The spines will never secrete poison while young are present. I feel like I want to say Nidoqueen should probably level up to street level, just based off of the fact that it gets a ground typing, which if we're saying it has like access to, moves like dig, superpower, it can learn earthquake. Yeah, I feel at least a lot of fully evolved ground types will be at least street. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think Nidoqueen has to bare minimum at least be street tier, just based off of the fact that she's a ground type. I think that's pretty fair. I'm going to imagine that Nidoran boy version and Nidorino are going to be pretty similar to the previous other ones. The larger its horns, the more powerful its secreted venom with its poisonous sting, fatal poison as always. Larger its horns, the more powerful. Its ears can be freely moved in any direction, and even the slightest sound doesn't escape its notice, and it extends its toxic barbs when angered. Yeah, so just base, human. Nidorino might be different? Might be stronger than Nidorina. An aggressive Pokemon that's quick to attack, and its horn also secretes powerful venom. They're stabbed into an enemy, and the impact makes the poison leak out. It still has high senses. It is easily agitated. It has a violent disposition and stabs foes with its horns, which oozes poison upon impact. If it senses anything, it attacks immediately. Yeah, so Nidorino is still human level. And Nidoking should definitely, like Nidoqueen, at least be street level, but let's see if he gets leveled up at all based off of his Pokédex entries. Uses its powerful tail in battle to smash, constrict, and then break the prey's bones. God damn. Its horns are so hard they can pierce a diamond. Oh, wow. So then without a doubt, building level, at least. Damn. It can pierce a diamond is wild. If it binds an enemy, it can snap the victim's spine quite easily. Oh my god, it said it can just hug you and fucking you're a vegetable after that, dog. A Nidoking hug is fucking unreal. With one swing, it can topple a metal transmission tower, and if this Pokemon goes on a rampage, there is no stopping it. There's gotta be, okay, hold on. There's gotta be like a city block. We're getting in the weeds a little bit, but there's gotta be like, I mean, if we're saying that it can fucking snap a metal transmission tower, it can probably just take that transmission tower and whip it through multiple buildings around the area, right? Like if we're saying that its rampages can't be stopped, I'm arguing that while I wouldn't put Nidoking at city level, I would definitely want to separate a Nidoking from like something like Raticate. I think Nidoking should probably be city block. Yeah, it can snap a telephone like a matchstick. Yeah, it's undeniable. It probably couldn't destroy a city in one single fucking sweep, but it could fucking do insane work. It's forceful and spirited in battle and makes use of its thick tail and diamond-crushing horn. When it goes on a rampage, it's impossible to control. Yeah, unreal. Yeah, I think we at least need to give it city block. Which would be scarier, a Nidoking or 50 hungry Raticates? I think we've established that either could be a fucking problem. Yeah, Nidoking levels the fuck up and is our first Pokemon to hit a new high score of City Block, which, you know, everyone give claps for Nidoking. I think it's pretty fair to say that he definitely surpasses just mere building level. This Pokemon is destroying at least a block. All right, up next is Clefairy. It's magical and cute and appeal as many admirers. It's rare and found only in certain areas. The moonlight it stores and the wings on its back apparently gives it the ability to float in mid-air. It becomes easier to spot for some reason on the night of a full moon. When dawn arrives, the tired Clefairy return to their quiet mountain retreats and go to sleep nestled up against each other. So I think Clefairy is probably safe to say harmless, right? All right, so Clefairy gets harmless. Now, Clefable has metronome. So I'm actually willing to say it might even be able to reach just street level just based off of its ability to, like, you know, use Hyper Beam off metronome and shit like that. I don't know if we're counting that. I don't know if I'm just making up new criteria for Clefable specifically, but said to live in quiet remote mountains. This type of fairy has a strong aversion to being seen. Its bouncy step lets it even walk on water. It's known to take strolls. Nah, I'm just yapping. Don't listen to me. I'm gonna put this as harmless, same as the Clefable. Timid fairy Pokemon that's rarely seen and will run and hide the moment it senses people. Yeah, exactly. Let me stop. You know, a trained Pokemon, you know, in a Pokemon battle, Clefable is different from what we're just speaking about right now. So, and it runs and hides. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, Clefable can just stay harmless. Next up is Vulpix, who I think has just weird lore. Vulpix and Ninetales both have super weird Pokemon lore. At the time of its birth, it has just one tail, and the tail splits from its tip as it grows older. It is warm and cuddly. If it is attacked by an enemy stronger than itself, it feigns injury to fool the enemy and escapes. Damn, that's wild. During the daytime when the temperatures rise, this Pokemon releases flames from its mouth to prevent its body from going too hot. It can freely control fire and make fiery orbs fly like will-o'-the-wisps. Just before evolution, its 6 tails grow hot as if on fire. It can control balls of fire. As it grows, its 6 tails split. I mean, just being a fire type, it might be human, but I mean, it also makes a difference, right? Because Charmander, could it hurt a human? Like, could Charmander... I don't know if Charmander's killing a human, right? Might be changing this around a little bit. I might be changing this around a little bit. So, like, yeah, I think, like, harmless. Mostly harmless. I feel like the Wartortle is also probably mostly harmless, right? Like, these can all at least kill you. But Squirtle Shell Game, I don't think that's, like, taking a human out, though. Like, out. I also don't know if a Spearow... I mean, I guess if a pack of Spearow are all coming at you and it's defending its territory, but I don't know if a Spearow... I'll keep Spearow in human just because you could get unlucky if it gets, like, a kid. But, yeah, I think that's fair, because just because Vulpix is releasing fire, like, is that fire very, like, incinerating you, or is it just like a second, third degree burn, you know? Like, yeah, I'm willing to say, you know, it's warm and cuddly. Yeah, Vulpix harmless. It was fun while it lasted. Yep, nope. Unk's coming in to take all the fun away. Ninetales. Very smart and very vengeful. Grabbing one of its tails could result in a 1,000-year curse. There's that weird lore I knew about. Some legends claim that each of its 9 tails have its own unique type of special mystical power. I mean, you got that 1,000-year curse that would fuck you up. That's definitely human. It casts a sinister light from its bright red eyes to gain total control over its foe's mind. Plus, he can ruin your drip. That's a fair point. Pokemon said to live for 1,000 years with a 1,000-year curse. It can be imbued with mystical power. Can gain total control over your mind. Legend has it Ninetales came into being when 9 wizards possessing sacred powers merged into one. And it can understand human speech. It's vindictive and relentless by nature. Those who cross it even once will be cursed for 1,000 years. Yeah, yikes. It also has supernatural abilities to manipulate fire, and it can burn its prey to a crisp. Yeah, see, that's a little bit more... That's what I need to hear. You know, Ninetales definitely human. And, like, that will make the difference between, like, Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, we were talking about Jigglypuff before, and I think that's important to note because now just putting people to sleep, it's very important to distinct. Like, even though, you know, Jigglypuff is putting people to sleep, you know, it begins a lullaby, a soothing melody that lulls its enemies to sleep. Pokemon uses its ability to sing at precisely the right wavelength to make its foes drowsy. Like, all of that stuff... You know, it possesses a vocal range that exceeds 12 octaves. When this Pokemon sings, it never pauses to breathe, and if it's in a battle against an opponent that does not easily fall asleep, Jigglypuff cannot breathe, and it endangers its life. Damn, it can take itself out just doing what it knows best. Gonna go ahead and say harmless. And the anime proves that by, you know, Jigglypuff all it does is just put you to sleep and draw on your face. Now, Wigglytuff, when angered, it sucks in air and inflates itself to an enormous size, and it can continue to inflate itself without limit. That's kind of crazy. Take care not to make it angry, or it may inflate steadily and hit with a body slam. Damn, okay. Very flexible. By inhaling deeply, its Pokemon can inflate itself seemingly without end, and once inflated, Wigglytuff bounces along lightly like a balloon. Sleeping alongside a Wigglytuff is simply divine. Is the body slam lethal? I guess if it can inflate itself as big as possible with no limit, it would just crush you, no? I'm trying to see. All right, I'm willing to say human level at least. Like, if it can inflate itself to a large size and just body slam you against the floor, it will crush you. I think that's more human defining than spitting water on the ground and hoping you trip. Up next, we got Zubat, and I think Zubat should be pretty self-explanatory. Poison, it is human level, probably at least. Uses its ultrasonic waves to identify and approach targets. During the daytime, it stays in caves or under the eaves of old houses. While living in pitch black caverns, their eyes gradually grew shut and deprived them of vision, so they use ultrasonic waves to detect obstacles. Human level is just based off of how annoying it is when you're walking every 5 steps and you get a random encounter for it. Yeah. Even in tight caves, Zubat flies around with skill. All right, yeah, so just base human level based off of its poison. Pretty standard. Is Golbat any more to write home about? Once it strikes, it won't stop draining energy from the victim even if it gets too heavy to fly. Its sharp fangs are used to bite and suck blood. It can drink more than 10 ounces of blood at once. It seeks flesh blood. It's literally just a vampire Pokemon. It loves to feast on the blood of people and Pokemon. Drains a nearly fatal amount of blood. Sheesh. Every once in a while, you'll see a Golbat that's missing some fangs. This happens when hunger drives it to try biting a steel-type Pokemon. Well, there you go right there. Not any higher than human. It can't even fucking break through steel like these guys, like some of these guys can. So boom, there's your difference right there. Its teeth aren't strong enough. Damn, Raticate's teeth are stronger than Golbat's teeth. Which is insane when you really think about it, because like competitively, like I'm picking Golbat over Raticate all day, every day. Just remembered how OP Gardevoir is. Oh boy, when we get into some of those Hoenn Pokemon, it's gonna get crazy. We're moving on to Oddish now. During the day, it keeps its face buried, and at night, it wanders around sowing its seeds. If you try to yank it out of the ground, it shrieks horribly. Oh, it's like a fucking mandrake. It buries itself in soil to absorb nutrients from the ground using its whole body. Its scientific name is Odium wanderus, and at night, it's said to walk nearly 1,000 feet on its 2 roots. It may be mistaken for a clump of weeds. It's poison type, so it does get base human, but, you know, not that big of a deal. I'm curious if Gloom will level it up. Probably not. I'm going to imagine Gloom and Vileplume will probably stay, you know, both human level if I had to guess. Its nectar is used to attract prey, and the fluid that oozes from its mouth isn't drool. Oh boy. 1 out of 1,000 people enjoy sniffing its nose-bending stink. Oh god, it's one of those weird fucking smells that, you know, you have to be very special to appreciate. Does it mention poison? The Pokédex doesn't, but they're poison type. And if they can spread their aromas, then they can spread poison powder, just like Butterfree and all the other ones can. It smells too repulsive to get very close. Apparently it loves the horrid stench. It sniffs the noxious fumes and drools even more of its prey. A horrible, noxious honey drools from its mouth. 1 whiff of the honey can result in memory loss. When faced with danger, its stench worsens, and if this Pokemon's feeling calm and secure, it does not release its usual stinky aroma. This horrid stench can cause fainting at a distance of 1.25 miles. Yeesh! And something again tells me Vileplume isn't going to be much better. The larger its petals, the more toxic pollen it contains. Its big head is heavy and hard to hold up. The flapping sound is very loud, and with every step, the petals shake out heavy clouds of toxic pollen. It's advisable never to approach any attractive flowers in a jungle, however pretty they may be. Once the prey is immobilized, this Pokemon catches and devours them. What the fuck? I would hate to see how a Vileplume eats. It's probably the most disgusting fucking thing imaginable. Its petals are the largest in the world. Yeah, just human level. Paris and Parasect, I'm gonna say probably the same. Actually, might not even be human level. Mushrooms on its back grow by drawing nutrients from the host. As its body grows, mushrooms sprout from its back. Has parasitic mushrooms growing on its back called Tochikaso, and they grow by drawing in large nutrients from the bug Pokemon host, and they're highly valued as medicine for extending life. What up, Crystal Bear? Burrows under the ground to gnaw on tree roots, and the mushrooms on its back absorb most of the nutrition. Sometimes seen at the foot of humid forests. Yep. Golbat's on the same tier as Rattata. Holy fraud. I know. Isn't this kind of weird how some of this fucking works? Like Nidoking is right now top tier. Paras is harmless, and like I said, Parasect most likely also harmless as well. A host parasite pair in which the parasite mushroom has taken over the host bug, prefers damp places. Damn, this is when Parasect is when the parasite took over. Unfortunate. It scatters toxic spores from the mushroom cap, and in China, the spores are used as herbal medicine. Again, so weird to me that we're mentioning China and regular countries right now. Known to infest large trees en masse and drain nutrients from the lower trunk and roots. When an infested tree dies, they move on to another tree all at once. So the toxic spores that make it human level, at least if it's toxic, it can definitely scatter poisonous spores and hurt you. Not good, not good. But other than that, Parasect kind of disappointing. We move on to Venonat, which is a bug poison type, so most likely base human based off its poison type, but lives in the shadows of tall trees where it eats insects, and it's attracted by light at night. In a bright place, you can see that they are clusters of many tiny eyes. Ew. It possesses large eyes that never fail to spot even minuscule prey. The eyes can also shoot powerful beams. The hell? Yep, just more of it being, drawn in by light at night, and it has big eyes, and that its big eyes are a radar. And the fact that it can shoot powerful beams, yeah, okay, all right. That and the poison type. Was Dugtrio OP, or am I imagining things? I feel like Dugtrio might be OP. I feel like you might be remembering correctly on that one. Coming up next, Venomoth. The dust-like scales covering its wings are color-coded to indicate the kinds of poison it has. Its wings are hard to remove, and they also contain poison that leaks on contact, and it scatters. It flaps its large wings violently to scatter its poisonous powder all around. Just a basic poison type, nothing special about it. It flutters its wings around. It's kind of like Butterfree almost. Literally almost just like Butterfree. Just a moth instead of, instead of a butterfly. I don't know if I ever see a Venonat pulling up to my porch because the light's on, I'm having a heart attack. Oh yeah, 100%. I would not want to see one of these things on my fucking at my fucking front door. Wait, why are they trying to remove a Venomoth's wings? Good question. I didn't even ask. That's kind of something it just kind of pushes past. Oh, the powdery scales on its wings are hard to remove. I just misquoted that. My fault. I'm spreading Pokemon misinformation. Diglett lives about 1 yard underground where it feeds on plant roots, and it sometimes appears above ground. It prefers dark places, spends most of its time underground, and though it can pop up in caves, it leaves the soil perfectly tilled and ideal for planting crops. It digs underground and chews on tree roots. It leaves raised earth in its wake, making it easy to spot. Diglets are almost always raised in farms. The reason's simple: wherever they burrow, the soil is left perfectly tilled. Well, that's awesome. Travels through tunnels that it digs underground, and it hates sunlight. The fact that people use Diglets to plow fields is hysterical. I'm going to imagine it's at least street level because it should be able to pop out of the ground, just push through concrete and pop out of the ground in a street. So I'm going to give Diglett street level just based off of that. It could definitely fuck up a street. And we kind of said this before, most ground Pokemon are probably going to be at least street level just based off of their ability to use Earthquake and stuff like that. Not that other Pokemon can't use Earthquake, but it's literally in the ground Pokemon's nature. Now, Dugtrio, this might be intense. A team of Diglett triples, it triggers huge earthquakes by burrowing 60 miles underground. A team of triplets that can burrow over 60 miles per hour. Due to this, some people think it's an earthquake. Extremely powerful, and they can dig even through the hardest of ground to a depth of 60 miles. Extremely powerful. Anything big besides the earthquake causing? Nope, unfortunately not. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're just gonna stick to street level. I don't think Diglett is that strong. Deaf human? Well, I'm going to imagine Diglett can puncture through a street, right? Diglett can literally probably just boop, 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 like pick a headbutt and push through a street. So, street, car, that's kind of like the level that we're kind of at, right? Like let's just do that too. Let's add car. I feel like Dugtrio is at least buildings. I mean, it says that it was able to cause earthquakes, but no reputable enough damage. Like, we don't know how high level those earthquakes are. Like, what magnitude are those earthquakes? It's not described. Now, Meowth, I'm going to imagine, are probably pretty harmless. I don't want to spend too long on some of these Pokemon, but adores circular objects, and it wanders the streets at night to look for dropped loose change. It loves round and shiny objects, and it can't stop from picking them up. At night, it patrols its territory with its eyes aglow. For some reason, this Pokemon loves shiny coins. When visiting a junkyard, you may catch sight of it having an intense fight with Murkrow. Huh. It loves coins, so if you give it one, you can make friends with Meowth. But it's fickle, so you can't count on that friendship lasting. Yeah, so Meowth, harmless. Persian, though. Persian might be human? I feel like Persian would probably maul the shit out of you. Although its fur has many admirers, it's tough to raise as a pet because of its fickle meanness. The gem in its forehead glows on its own, and it walks with all the grace and elegance of a proud queen. It will lash out and scratch for little reason. It will tear apart its prey on a mere whim. Well, there you go, right there. Beware if it raises its tail straight up. It's a signal that it's about to pounce and bite like a dog. Its lithe muscles allow it to walk without making a sound, and it attacks in an instant. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and say Persian is at least human level for sure. We've got Psyduck, who I think Psyduck is just going to fucking break your brain, right? He just causes confusion and terrible headaches. While lulling its enemies with its vacant look, this wily Pokemon will use psychokinetic powers. Oh no, it is always tormented by headaches. It uses psychic powers, but it is not known if it intends to do so. Psyduck uses a mysterious power. When it does so, this Pokemon generates brainwaves that are supposedly only seen in sleepers. This discovery spurred controversy among scholars. Doesn't seem to remember its psychic powers, and it doesn't seem to know how to use them as much as it wants to. It's almost always confused and puzzled, and it can really only affect sleeping humans. Yeah, so Psyduck, harmless. Golduck, however, Golduck might be an issue. Often seen swimming elegantly by lake shores. It is often mistaken for the Japanese monster Kappa. It may use telekinetic powers if its forehead glows mysteriously. The webbed flippers on its forelegs and hind legs give it frightening speed. It swims effortlessly even in a rough, stormy sea. It's an adept swimmer. It is said that the red part of its forehead grants supernatural powers to those who possess one, so it was overhunted in the past. Mostly harmless. I'm sure a Golduck could probably hurt a human, but from the Pokedex entries, it seems mostly harmless. Yeah, the latent powers, it's mostly just the psychic powers when it gets a headache, right? And then up next, we've got Mankey, who I know Mankey is always willing to throw hands, but is it powerful enough to kill a human? I mean, if it beats the shit out of it, maybe. Extremely quick to anger, it could be docile one moment, then thrashing away the next. It angers easily and won't hesitate to attack anything. Groups of them will attack any handy target for no reason, and it's unsafe to approach if it gets violently enraged. Because it goes into a towering rage almost instantly, it's impossible for anyone to flee its wrath. It lives in treetop colonies. If one becomes enraged, the whole colony rampages for no reason. Yeah, I would say Mankey would probably fucking beat up a human for sure. It could probably cause some brain damage for sure, especially if you're getting hit by a whole pack of them. Kind of the same as the Rattata issue. You could definitely get, especially if you're a 5-year-old kid, it's knocking the block off that 5-year-old kid. Knocking the block. You've also got Primeape, who should be human level, but let's see if there's anything that buffs him up. Always ferocious and tenacious to boot, it will not abandon chasing its quarry until it is caught. It stops being angry only when nobody else is around. It chases anyone that meets its glare, even if it has to chase them to the end of the world. God damn, with the same thing with the fucking Arbok shit, man. And when it becomes ferocious, its blood circulation becomes more robust and its muscles are made stronger. It will never forgive opponents who have angered it, even after it has beaten them down until they can't move. It never ever forgives. God damn, bro. Still human level. Yeah, imagine going to the store and getting milk and you accidentally lock eyes with the Primeape. Like, ah, fuck, this is my whole day today now. Tragic, man. It's just sad. It would just be fucking awful to have that happen. We've got Growlithe here. Very protective of its territory, and it will bark and bite to repel intruders from its space. It will bark fiercely at anything that invades its territory, and it fearlessly stands up to bigger and stronger foes. If it detects an unknown smell, it will roar loudly to force out the intruder. It tries to repel its enemies by barking and biting. It will fearlessly bark at any opponent to protect its own trainer from harm. It will try to repel, so I don't think it's killing a human. I would imagine Arcanine, though, is a different story. Arcanine is most likely human level without a doubt. That thing is fucking murdering you, mauling you apart. You're cooked. You're dead. Without a doubt. Pokemon that has been admired since the past for its beauty. It runs agilely as if it's on wings. Many people are charmed by its grace and beauty while it runs. Anyone hearing it can't help but grovel before it as it conveys a sense of majesty. It is said to be capable of running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night. And it is said to race at unbelievable speed and run agilely as if on wings. Wild. I mean, just based off of its speed and its size, I'm going to imagine it could probably kill a human. Also, the fire typing. I think Growlithe is definitely a little bit more harmless, but I think Arcanine should at least be human level without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right, we're pushing through. We still got plenty to go, and I'm pretty sure, honestly, we're just getting stronger as we get to the final, you know, the final Pokemon here. We got Poliwag showing up, who its newly grown legs prevent it from running, and it appears to prefer swimming than trying to stand. I don't know if this thing is going to be even human level. Even Sharp Fangs bounce right off of it. Trouble walking on its newly grown feet. Machamp might break the current power system. That might be the case. I'm honestly kind of worried as we get to some of these stronger Pokemon. Yeah, Poliwag is going to be harmless. Poliwhirl and Poliwrath. Poliwhirl and Poliwrath aren't that much different, so I don't know. Capable of living in and or out of water, and it sweats to keep its body slimy. It uses its belly spiral to put the foe asleep. Damn, it uses hypnosis. It's like Jigglypuff, but with fucking boxing gloves. It'll throw hands. Staring at it gradually causes drowsiness. Because of the slippery covering, it can easily slip and slide out of the clutches of any battle. 55 miles per hour, assuming both of those. Sheesh. So that's about like as fast as a car. I don't know if it would bust through a street or a building, though. It's I think human level makes sense. That would definitely fucking kill a human if an Arcanine went full speed right through you. Poliwhirl is harmless. It might put you to sleep, but no big worries. Now, Poliwrath, unless those muscles are fucking busting diamonds like Nidoking, so far he's still the king, literally. Easily overtakes the best human swimmers. It can even overtake champion swimmers. Capable of crossing the Pacific Ocean just by kicking. Brawny muscles never grow fatigued, however much it exercises. It is so tirelessly strong that it can swim back and forth across the Pacific Ocean without effort. I'm going to imagine that if it's swimming better than all Olympic swimmers and its brawny muscles never grow fatigued, it can swim across the entire Pacific Ocean. I'm going to imagine it could definitely beat the shit out of someone. So I'll give Poliwrath human level, probably. Very low human level, but surprised Golduck and Poliwrath don't have some kind of inverse rivalry about who's the best swimmer. Good point. It also knows martial arts, can't forget that. It knows Kung Fu. And Abra, I mean, I don't think Abra is going to be much of an issue here. I'm going to say harmless, right? Uses its ability to read minds and will identify impending danger and teleport away. Teleports itself to safety even as it sleeps. It's always sleeping. It has to sleep for 18 hours a day, and if it doesn't, it loses its ability to use telekinetic powers. It senses the impending attacks and teleports away. It can teleport other people, teleport itself to treetops and pick and eat berries there. It uses its psychic powers while it sleeps, and the contents of Abra's dreams affect the powers that the Pokemon wields. Yeah, harmless. Poliwrath travels 9,600 miles without rest in swimming. Is crazy. Kadabra might be human just because it can pick them up and slam them on the ground to kill them. So it emits special alpha waves from its body that induce headaches just by being close by. Many odd things will happen if its Pokemon is close by. For example, it can make clocks run backwards. The more danger it faces, the stronger its psychic power, and it can emit alpha waves that even cause machines to malfunction. Only those with a particularly strong psyche can hope to become a trainer of this Pokemon. Otherwise, yeah, it just fucks with your brain otherwise, and you just get hit with crazy headaches. It happened one morning, a boy with extrasensory powers awoke in bed, transformed into Kadabra. That's terrifying. Yeah, Kadabra definitely seems at least human level without a doubt. Now, Alakazam, the Ruby and Sapphire, Alakazam sprites just look wrong, right? They just look like there's something off about him, right? Like he just looks weird here. I don't know what it is, but he just looks weird. I can't put my finger on it. He looks skinny. Yeah, he looks like he looks a little weird. Looks a little freaky deaky. Anyway, its brain can outperform a supercomputer. Ayo. This enables it to use its abilities to their extremes. Its brain cells multiply continually until it dies. As a result, it remembers everything. That's wild. Its brain continually grows, making its head far too heavy to support with its neck. This Pokemon holds its head up using its psychokinetic power instead. While it has strong psychic abilities and high intelligence, and Alakazam's muscles are weak, so it uses psychic power to move its body. Our tests have shown that the strength of its psychic powers correlates positively to the weight of its head. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, human level for sure. Same as Kadabra. Here's a big moment here. The Machop line. What are we cooking with? Loves to build its muscles. It trains in all styles of martial arts to become even stronger. It passes time by lifting boulders. Sheesh. It trains by lifting rocks in the mountains and can even pick up a Graveler with ease. How heavy is a Graveler? 232 pounds. Definitely human level. It's powerful enough to easily heft and throw a number of Geodude at once. Even though it's the size of a human child, it can hurl 100 grown-ups. The power to hurl 100 adult humans is wild. With its superhuman strength, it's able to throw 100 people all at the same time, and its strength comes from lifting Graveler all day. I'm willing to give Machop street level. If it's picking up 100 humans and throwing them, why the fuck wouldn't it be able to punch a street or punch a car and destroy it? I've got to give Machop street to car level. I just have to. We all agree, right? Like, that's not crazy to say. I think he could even be building level. Let's not go too crazy, but its muscular body is so powerful, it must wear a power save belt to be able to regulate its emotions. We do still have 2 more evolutions. Very tough and durable. It never gets tired. It exudes an amazing sense of strength, and its muscles become thicker after every battle. Machoke's thoroughly toned muscles possess the hardness of steel. It can easily aloft a sumo wrestler with just 1 finger. Machoke's boundless power is very dangerous. The fact that its muscles possess the quality and hardness of steel itself is wild. Loves training above all else, and voluntary assist with attacks such as construction and clearing land. I'm gonna go ahead and put Machoke at building level without a doubt. This man's picking up a house, no doubt. If he's picking up a whole sumo wrestler with 1 finger, I'm sorry, dog. I gotta give Machoke building level. Just gotta make it happen. Machamp, are you joining the city block team with Nidoking? Let's see here. Can we do it, Machamp? Using its heavy muscles, it throws powerful mud punches that can send the victim clear over the horizon. 1 arm alone can move mountains. Oh yeah. Is there a mountain tier? There's about to be now. Damn, it can move mountains with 1 hand. I was about to say, sending someone over the horizon, a lot of power scaling people in the community think that clearing a horizon is a mountain level feat. I don't know how much, truth comes from that, but listen, holy hell. It can knock a train flying with 1 punch. It can launch a flurry of 1,000 punches in 2 seconds? Holy shit. It unleashes megaton level punches that send opponents flying clear over the horizon. I mean, it's just crazy that Machamp levels up that quick. He skips a whole tier. Wow, that's wild. That's insane, man. What? Let's see. How heavy is your average building? The average weight of a building can vary greatly, but typically a single family house might weigh 80,000 pounds. Okay, so I don't know if we can give, let's say 200 times 100 is 20,000. So even if we're giving the 100 people that Machop picks up, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. 100%. You're 100% right. Machoke is high building, not quite city block yet. I mean, if one finger is holding a sumo wrestler, we have to imagine that. Yeah, I think Machoke gets to city block. I think so. I can't dispute it. I think we're gonna stick with that. Let's move on to Bellsprout, which I guess might be human just because of its poison, but a carnivorous Pokemon that traps and eats bugs. It uses its root feet to soak up needed moisture. Our carnivorous Pokemon that traps and eats bugs. Its blood looks like a human face. Bellsprout's thin and flexible body lets it bend and sway to avoid any attack, however strong it may be. From its mouth, this Pokemon spits a corrosive fluid that melts even iron. Well, there you go, right there. No longer Wimp Boy anymore. Bellsprout just fucking skipped its way up to street level. It melts a corrosive acid that gets through steel. There you go, right there. That melts even iron, I'm sorry. Either way, still fucking wild. Yeah, the melting iron just leveled it up big time. Like, in what world are we that Bellsprout is all the way up here and we've got like things like Arcanine, Venusaur? Like, it's so funny to me. This tier list is crazy. We've got Weeping Bell, able to spit out poison powder that immobilizes the enemy and finishes it with a spray of acid. Its hapless prey is melted by the strong acid, which is just crazy. Slices up the victim with sharp leaves. Weeping Bell is just even more deadly. Probably doesn't get any better than street level, but just has even more ways to kill you. At night, the Pokemon hooks onto the tree branch and goes to sleep, and if it moves around, it may wake up to find itself on the ground. It's still crazy to me that Bellsprout and Weeping Bell just leveled up all the way to streetcar level just based off of the acid they spit. Fucking unreal. Snorlax is planted because it just needs to jump. Jumps once and the planet is cooked. All right, we've got Victory Bell here, the final evolution. Said to live in huge colonies deep in jungles, although no one has ever returned from there. Swallowed whole, the prey is melted in a day, bones and all. Oh my god, and that's crazy to think that James from the anime is getting almost eaten by this thing almost every day. Bro, he is seconds away from death every single fucking waking moment. Has a long vine that extends from its head, and this vine's waved and flicked about as if it were an animal to attract prey. When the unsuspecting prey draws near, the Pokemon swallows it whole, which is really an acid. It pulls in its mouth a fluid with a honey-like scent, which is really an acid that dissolves anything. Acid that has dissolved many prey becomes sweeter, making it even more effective at attracting that prey. Once ingested into this Pokemon's body, even the hardest object will melt into nothing. The fact that it says the fact that the acid says it will dissolve anything makes me kinda wanna level Victory Bell up to building level, but I don't know if Victory Bell got the range like that to spit a bunch of acid over a whole building like that. But honestly, the level up of acid might actually be enough to get Victory Bell at building for me. Very small building, probably. Maybe like a shed. Crazy. All right, so yeah, I'll put Victory Bell. We'll glaze Victory Bell up to building. I don't think anyone will be mad at me for that. All right, and next up, we've got Tentacool and Tentacruel, and I imagine they'll probably both just be mere be mere human level just based off of their poison stingers, right? Drifts in shallow seas, anglers hook them by accident and are often punished by their stinging acid. Yep, when the tide goes out, dehydrated Tentacool remains can be found washed up on shore. It uses its toxic feelers to stab anything it touches. It absorbs sunlight and refracts it using water inside its body to convert it into beam energy. The Pokemon shoots beams from its crystal eyes. God damn. It shoots strange beams from its crystal-like eyes. If you get bitten or stabbed by its toxic tentacles, rush to the hospital. Tentacool is just basic human level. We've got some Tentacruel glaze in chat, so let's see if it holds up. I know we had the giant Tentacruel episode that had to get removed on air for 9/11. So maybe if a giant Tentacruel happened, that shit was destroying the whole city. The tentacles are normally kept short, and on hunts they are extended to ensnare and immobilize their prey. They wrap around their prey and weaken it with poison. Its 80 tentacles absorb water and stretch almost endlessly to constrict its prey and enemies. It extends all 80 of its tentacles to entrap its opponent inside a poisonous net. The orbs glow before lashing the vicinity with a harsh ultrasonic blast, and this Pokemon's outburst creates rough waves around it. Okay, I can see I can understand why you might have been saying it was street level with the ultrasonic blast that can lash out throughout the vicinity. But I don't know how strong it is, right? When the orbs on its head are blinking, it is a warning sign, and it also uses that to communicate with others. potentially streetcar. I could see it with the ultrasonic waves that lash out all around it. I mean, that's the exact kind of logic we used for Charmeleon, right? When we said Charmeleon incinerated its surroundings, having an ultrasonic wave that lashes out at its entire vicinity, like it's basically an AoE, you know, big fucking ultrasonic blast. I'm willing to say that would damage a street or a car. I'm willing to give Tentacruel the street level. I'm feeling nice. I'm feeling nice. I don't know if the other ones can feel the same. I don't know if Geodude and Graveler are going to get the same treatment, but hey, let's see. Geodude found in fields and mountains, mistaking them for boulders. People often step or trip on them. If you step on one by accident, the Geodude will get angry and it will swing its fists around if angered. It uses its arms to steadily climb steep mountain paths. The longer a Geodude lives, the more its edges are chipped and worn away, making it more rounded in appearance. It will not awaken even if hikers step on it unwittingly. Some people have used them to hurl at each other in a snowball fight. Damn, that's wild. So I would actually say that Geodude isn't human level, because if people are throwing Geodudes at each other on accident in snowball fights and not dying, I mean, sheesh. Carelessly stepping on it will make it swing its fists angrily. Pretty harmless indeed. I completely agree. So why don't we have an ice Geodude then? That's a good question. I was waiting to see some kind of Pokedex entry like Geodudes can change mountainscapes or something, right? That's what I kept reading. Like, you never know what's coming. Rolls down slopes to move. It rolls over any obstacle without slowing or changing its direction. Often seen rolling down mountain trails. Obstacles are just things to roll straight over, not avoid. Doesn't mind if pieces of it break off while it rolls down mountains, and it pays no attention to any object that happens to be in its path. If it gains too much speed, it stops by running into huge rocks. This Pokemon will climb a mountain from the base to the summit, crunchily feasting on rocks all the while. It rolls over any obstacle without slowing or changing its direction, and they're so brutal they smash aside obstructing trees and massive boulders with thunderous tackles. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is probably enough to be street level at least. If it's rolling through anything in its path, you know, it's breaking through, you know, smashing through trees or massive boulders. It could destroy a car? Yeah, I think so. Its speed can exceed 60 miles per hour and it's just straight rock? Yeah, that's taking down a car. Yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, Graveler is gonna be street car level for sure. Is Golem the sleeper? Let's see. Are we right in thinking Golem is a sleeper? That's more than Arcanines, which is insane, right? Its boulder-like body is extremely hard. It can easily withstand dynamite blasts without damage. Shoosh. Once it sheds its skin, its body turns tender and whitish. The discarded shell immediately hardens and crumbles away. It can use this explosive force from blowing itself up to jump from mountain to mountain. And even high-powered dynamite blasts fail to scratch its rugged hide. If there's a large earthquake, these Pokemon will come rolling down off the mountains en masse to the foothills below. If even dynamite can't harm it and it can blow itself up comparable to dynamite to, you know, jump from mountain to mountain, I'm willing to give Golem building level. If it's blowing itself up on impact, it tumbles down mountain. I almost said that. I thought that said it tumbled down a mountain specifically. Golem is still a fraud, same tier as Raticate. Listen, I'm pretty sure Raticate has proven almost 70% of Pokemon as frauds by the fact that Raticate has shown up as building level. And look at all of these decent Pokemon that are way below it. Fucking Alakazam is below Raticate. Raticate victim. Unreal. Fucking unreal. We've got Ponyta and Rapidash. Rapidash, I feel like, might score pretty high, but Ponyta, I don't know. Its hooves are 10 times harder than diamonds. It can trample anything completely flat in little time. Wow, that's kind of insane. Its hind legs, which have harder than diamond hooves, kick back at any presence it senses behind it, and training by jumping over grass that grows longer every day has it made a world-class jumper. Nah, I'm definitely gonna say, I mean, if Ponyta's kicks are harder than diamonds, I'm gonna have to say it's at least building level. And if it can trample anything flat in little time, if it jumps on top of a building and then just starts trampling on it with diamond hooves, oh my god, that's crazy. Its legs grow strong after chasing after its parent. Ponyta is very weak at birth, but it becomes stronger by stumbling and falling to keep up with its parent. 100% building. Ponyta is insane. That was a sleeper right there. Ponyta was a sleeper. What's Rapidash cooking with? anything more, or are we sticking the same? Pokemon will chase anything that moves fast in the hopes of racing it. If it sees something faster than itself, it will give chase at top speed. Its 4 hooves barely touch the ground because it moves so fast. With incredible acceleration, it reaches its top speed of 150 miles per hour. Woo, after running just 10 steps. That's wild. It can race as fast as a bullet train. When an all-out gallop, its blazing mane sparkles, enhancing its beautiful appearance. With its mane blazing ferociously, it races as if it were an arrow. Honestly, it might be City Block, because it would just, if we're saying it's reaching 150 miles per hour, it's a fire type, so its burning mane is flowing all around it and it's burning everything. And Ponyta is trotting harder than diamonds itself. With that speed, with the fire, and with that fucking attack power, I'm going to imagine it would rip right through a City Block. I don't want to say it would be town level, because I feel like that's glazing it too much. But I feel like, I mean, why wouldn't I say it's a City Block issue? That would literally take out an entire neighborhood with its speed, flames, and fucking power instantly, without issue. Rapidash is 0.2 the speed of sound according to Google. Yeah, no, I mean, sound is quick. Sound is very quick. I think a lot of people definitely don't I feel like with how like anime and everything is, like people misunderstand how fast the speed of sound actually is. But yeah, Rapidash, I think City Block makes complete sense. Slowpoke, I feel like is just gonna be a harmless guy. Incredibly slow and dopey. It takes 5 seconds for it to feel pain when under attack. It's quite content to loll about without worrying about any time. If something bites its tail, it won't even notice for a whole day. It uses its tail to catch prey, dipping it in the water at its side. However, this Pokemon often forgets what it's doing and often spends entire days just lofting at the water's edge. It's almost vacantly lost in thought, but no one knows what it's thinking. Yeah, Slowpoke is harmless without a doubt. I don't know if Slowbro is going to be any different, honestly. The shelter that latched onto Slowpoke's tail is said to feed on the host's leftover scraps. Weird that Shelter comes up after Slowpoke, despite being mentioned in Slowbro's Pokedex entry. You would think Shelter and Cloyster would show up beforehand. If the shelter on its tail comes off, it becomes a Slowpoke again. Damn, that must be sad. Loses its ability to feel pain due to Shelter's seeping poison. It's said to feed on the host's leftover scraps. Usually dim-witted, it seemed to become inspired if the shelter on its tail bites down. Slowbro seems also mostly harmless. Too lazy to be a threat. Too lazy to be a threat to anybody. You see, these guys, you're good. You don't have to worry about shit. I feel like Magnemite might be the same as Pikachu, might be base street level just because it can, you know, recreate a lightning bolt, but let's see, it might have weaker lightning. Uses anti-gravity to stay suspended, appears without warning, and uses Thunder Wave and similar moves. It floats in air on powerful electromagnetic waves, and it may approach trainers if they are using Pokegear. The electricity emitted by the units on each side of its body can become a strong magnet, and attaches itself to power lines to feed on electricity. If your house has a power outage, check your circuit breakers. They generate enough magnetism to draw in iron objects from over 300 feet away. That can be dangerous. The faster the units at its sides rotate, the greater the magnetic force they generate. The waves emitted by the units at the side of its head expel anti-gravity, which allows it to float. Seems like more of an annoyance than a threat. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, more of an annoyance than a threat. Harmless. Magnemites are harmless. Now, Magnetons, I might be concerned about that. Formed by several Magnemites linked together, they frequently appear when sunspots flare up. It raises the temperature by 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit within 3,300 feet by its radio signals, which are crazy. Earaches will occur if you get too close to it. It dries all moisture in the vicinity, and when many Magneton gather together, the resulting magnetic storm disrupts radio waves, and as a result, large cities sound sirens to warn citizens of large-scale outbreaks of this Pokemon. Magneton emits a powerful magnetic force that is fatal to electronics and precision instruments. Because of it, it is said that some towns warn people to keep this Pokemon inside their Pokeball. So realistically, it's really only dangerous, like, I mean, you get earaches. I don't know. I'm gonna say probably harmless. It's like right in the middle here. Like, I guess I could see where it would be a threat to human life, but not the same as everybody else, right? Like, you get a pretty bad earache, none of your electronics work. You know what? I'll put Magneton at human. You know, I'm sure if you encounter enough of them, you get enough of an earache, it will bust your brain out or something from the magnetic waves or some shit. I'll give Magneton human. Farfetch'd, Is it gonna be human? Because I feel, isn't Farfetch'd an asshole? The sprig of green onions it holds is its weapon, and it's used much like a metal sword. They are rarely seen, so its thought their numbers are decreasing. It uses its own stick to thwart them. In order to prevent their extinction, more people have made an effort to breed these Pokemon. Stalk is used like a sword to cut all sorts of things. Human life. Definitely. Imagine getting decapitated by a fucking sprig of green onion that a Farfetch'd is holding. The stalk this Pokemon carries in its wings serves as a sword to cut down opponents. In a dire situation, the stalk can also serve as food. Crazy. Human level. For sure. Probably wouldn't cut through a car, but would cut through your fucking neck. That's for sure. All right, up next, we've got Doduo, who might be harmless. Bird that makes up for its poor flying with its fast foot speed, leaves giant footprints, runs at high speed on developed legs. Leaving footprints up to 4 inches deep is crazy. It runs away at 60 miles per hour. When threatened, it flees over 60 miles per hour. Mostly harmless. If it ran into you, it would probably hurt, but it probably wouldn't kill you. Now, Dodrio, let's see. Let's see if yellow is right here. Uses its 3 brains to execute complex plans. While 2 heads sleep, 1 head stay awake. It runs close to 40 miles per hour in prairies. It may think too much and become immobilized. An enemy that takes its eyes off any of the 3 heads, even for a second, will get pecked severely. The 3 heads respectively represent joy, sadness, and anger. It runs at nearly 40 miles per hour. It runs slower than the Doduo. Honestly, really not a big deal. You might get pecked, but that's about it. The pecks aren't a big deal. You run away. Dodrio is lame. It's okay, baby. How do you run away from something almost as fast as a car? I mean, you might not, but it might not kill you either. Look at how sharp that beak is. Looks like a pussy to me. Sorry for my dog. Let's see, we got Seal. Seal, baby. Protruding horn on its head is very hard, and it's used to bash through thick ice. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about, baby. Hunts for prey in the frigid sea underneath sheets of ice, and when it needs to breathe, it punches a hole through the ice with its sharply protruding section of its head. It is used for bashing through thick icebergs. Damn. It can't walk well on land, but it's a graceful swimmer. It swims in the sea using the point on its head to break up ice. Damn. Okay. Seal is not killing you, maybe if you're sleeping and it's suffocating you. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say, if its horn is bashing through thick icebergs, it will fucking bust through your shit. And not only that, it definitely has a horn that's strong enough to fucking punch through that fucking a car or a street if it's fucking busting through thick icebergs. I don't know if I would give Seal building level, but definitely high up there, which is just ridiculous. The amount of nonsense that this tier list has caused at this point is just ridiculous. What's Dugong working with? Stores thermal energy in its body and swims at a steady 8 knots even in intensely cold water. The colder the temperature, the friskier it gets. It uses its long tail to change swimming direction quickly. I mean, Seal's beaten an iceberg and the Titanic couldn't. Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of iceberg we're talking here, right? The rise in its body temperature helps its digestion. It swims powerfully in icy waters. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, Dugong and Seal definitely reach street and car level. Without a doubt. To be classified as an iceberg, the height of the ice must be greater than 16 feet above sea level. The thickness must be 98 to 164 feet. And its area is normally 1,000 to 3,000 square feet. Wow, no, actually, yeah, you're right. No, then they should actually be building level at least. You're right. 110% without a doubt. If they're breaking through icebergs, then they should be building level. You're right. But up next, we've got Grimer and Muck. Just like most of our other poison types are going to be base human level on their own just because they're just going to poison you and put you through toxicity. Appears in filthy areas and thrives by sucking up polluted sludge that pumped out factories of ice. As it moves, it loses bit of its body from which new Grimer will emerge. Good lord. So many germs are left behind that no plants will ever grow again. Its sludgy and rubbery body can be forced through any opening. This Pokemon enters sewer pipes to drink filthy wastewater. It was born in the sludge in a dirty stream and was exposed to the moon's X-rays, and it appears among filth. Yep, so I'll say actually just human level. Grimer is just human level, just because it's just toxic pollution. It's not acid or anything like Bellsprout and Weeping Bell. So definitely can kill you, but it's not like actually damaging the environment. It just slips through things. Now it will damage plants, but it won't damage like, it's not like it's, like I said, eroding like Bellsprout's acid. At least Grimer, maybe Muck gets worse. It is so toxic, even its footprints contain poison. Smells so awful it can cause fainting. Through degeneration, it lost its sense of smell. They love to gather in smelly areas where sludge accumulates. Touching it will accidentally cause a fever that requires bed rest. As it moves, a very strong poison leaks from it, making the ground there barren for 3 years. It is unusually detectable because it blends in with the ground. Touching it can cause terrible poisoning. It performs warm in human habitats. In the summertime, the toxic substances in its body intensify, making Muck reek like putrid kitchen garbage. The fluid instantly kills plants and trees on contact. And I don't think I see anything in regards to being street. It's mostly just plants and wildlife. So unfortunately, we're just going to stick with human. And we do remember that Shelder was revealed to have poison from Slowbro's Pokédex. I will not forget that. Let's move on to Shelder, baby. Its hard shell repels any kind of attack, and it is vulnerable only when its shell is opened. However, when it's open, the tender body is exposed. Grains of sand trapped in the shells mix with its body fluids to form pearls. At night, it uses its broad tongue to burrow a hole in the seafloor sand and then sleep in it. It is encased in a shell that's harder than diamond. Inside, however, is surprisingly tender. Sheesh. Yeah, about human level. Even though its shell is as hard as diamond, it's not swimming fast or anything like that. So even if it falls, it'd be like if you dropped a diamond, you know. It's you know, mostly just human. Seems to only be defense. Yeah, it's poison. It's poison for Slowbro, makes sense, which is important to note because we wouldn't get that information unless we read the Slowbro Pokédex. So always cool. For Cloyster, when attacked, it launches its horn in quick volleys. Its innards have never been seen. For protection, it uses its harder than diamond shell, and it also shoots spikes from that shell. So are the shells as hard as diamonds? Even a missile can't break the spikes it uses to stab opponents. They're even harder than its shell. So then, yeah, Cloyster is without a doubt building level. When attacked, it launches its horns in quick volleys, and its innards have never been seen before. Its shell is extremely hard. It cannot be shattered even with a bomb, and the shell only opens when it's attacking. It's stronger than its fucking spikes are stronger than fucking missiles, dog. That's crazy. That's all I needed to see. So yeah, fucking building level Cloyster. Wild. Ghastly? I wonder if Ghastly would be human level because of its poison. Let's see. Almost invisible, this gaseous Pokemon cloaks the target and puts it to sleep without notice. It has no real shape and appears to be made of gas. However, it can be blown away by the wind. It can envelop an opponent of any size and cause suffocation. Well, there you go. And it can also slowly weaken its prey by poisoning it through the skin. It can topple an Indian elephant by enveloping the prey in 2 seconds. Mostly just made up of gaseous matter, as I see here. Poisonous gas comprises 95% of its body. Inhaling part of its poisonous body can cause one to faint instantly. Why are Indian elephants catching strays? I don't know, man. That must have been just a topic of discussion when they were fucking making the first Pokédex entries. I don't know why there's so much fascination with Indian elephants. That was the best thing they could think of to compare it to. We've got Haunter here. Because of its ability to slip through block walls, it's said to be from another dimension. It causes shaking that won't stop until the victim's demise, and it licks and saps its victim's life. It hides in the dark, planning to take the life of the next living thing that wanders close by. Ghastly or Haunter can be human. Their lick is enough. Gengar may be street level if I'm forgetting a certain energy. Yeah, it looks like it's just gas. It's not even really solid, so I really don't think anything they do is going to be anything more than human. Even though they can slip through, you know, they can be transparent. They are just human level. But we'll have to see if Gengar actually levels anything up. Gengar is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I hate that Gengar is constantly hidden behind trait evolution because Gengar is an OP-ass Pokemon. Under a full moon, this Pokemon likes to mimic the shadows of people and laugh at their fright. If you feel a sudden chill, it's certain a Gengar has appeared. It slips into the shadows, the prey's shadow, and silently waits for an opportunity to steal the life of its target. Steals the life of those who become lost in mountains. Yeah, I don't think, even your home isn't safe. Gengar will lurk in whatever corner of a dark room it can find to wait for its chance to catch you. Yep, so just human. From what I'm getting from Gengar's Pokédex, he's a stalker. Yep, that's literally what it seems like. Yep, so the whole Ghastly line remains human level. And now we move on to Onix, which I'm gonna have to imagine is probably pretty fucking, is at least building level just based off of its size. right? If its strength gets glazed up in this fucking in this Pokédex, it's over. As it grows, the stone portions of its body harden to become similar to a diamond but colored black. Yep, without a doubt, building level indeed. The tunnels it leaves are used as homes by Diglett. It twists and squirms through the ground, and the thunderous roar of its tunneling echoes a long way. It can rapidly bore through the ground at 50 miles per hour, which is crazy. As it digs through the ground, it absorbs many hard objects, and this is what makes its body solid. There's a magnet in its brain that prevents Onyx from losing direction while tunneling. As it grows older, its body becomes steadily rounder and smoother. It can feed on large boulders. Tremors shake the earth above as it burrows deep beneath the ground, feeding on boulders as it goes. Yeah, building level completely. But yeah, Onyx, building level without a doubt. If it can reach diamond, you know, toughness and whip its tail around, and it's literally 8 feet tall. It is, it's pretty fucking insane. And honestly, I think that just tells me that Seal and Ponyta should move up, just because the amount of fucking ice, the amount of goatedness that comes from destroying an iceberg. So I think we have to level them up. I almost want to put them at town to city, but I think that's too much. Give Dugong the first city tier? I don't know about that. Too much for me. I don't want to glaze too much, especially since we've got 2 definitely low level hitters next, Drowsy and Hypno, which I'm going to imagine are barely human level. Puts enemies to sleep and then eats their dreams, and occasionally gets sick from eating bad dreams. It will sometimes show you dreams it has eaten in the past. It remembers every dream that it eats. It rarely eats the dreams of adults because children's dreams are tastier. Yeah, it's just eating dreams. It's thought to share some kind of common ancestry with Muna and Mosharna. It can be spotted near recreational facilities, intending to eat the pleasant dreams of children who enjoyed themselves there that day. Yep. So, Drowsy is basically harmless. Just gonna eat your dreams, not gonna kill you. Is Hypno gonna kill you though? When it locks eyes with an enemy, it will use a mix of psi moves like Hypnosis and Confusion. Avoid eye contact if you come across one, as it will try to put you to sleep with its pendulum. It feasts on their dreams after putting you to sleep. The arching movement and glitter of the pendulum lull the foe into a deep state of hypnosis. When it is very hungry, it puts humans it meets to sleep and then feasts on their dreams. Yeah, not even human level. Just goes after people for their dreams. Yeah, it rarely harms people. Yeah, so Hypno is harmless. It's creepy, but harmless. Next, we've got Krabby and Kingler, which I think they might be pretty fucking strong just because of their pincers. Its pincers are not only powerful weapons, they're used for balance when walking sideways. They sometimes break off during battle, but they grow back fast, and it cloaks itself with bubbles. How strong is this pincer though? They're powerful weapons, but how strong? Krabbies live on beaches, burrowed inside holes, on sandy beaches with little in the way of food. These Pokemon can be seen squabbling over territory. If they're powerful weapons, but they don't, I don't think, yeah, all we can do is say human. I can't give them anything more than human. I was trying to glaze Krabby up, but no Pokédex entry is anything really more than just saying they're powerful weapons, which doesn't tell us much. Kingler, though, might get some glaze. The large pincer has 10,000 HP of crushing power. However, its huge size makes it unwieldy to use. 10,000 HP? What the hell? Like actual HP, or is that like a unit of measurement? Horsepower? Is that what it's saying? 10,000 horsepower? Holy, 10,000 horsepower, which is the same kind of horsepower used by Top Fuel drag racing. So I'm going to at least say street level without a doubt, but we might, let's keep reading. It might even get crazier from here. As an enormous oversized claw, uses this huge claw to communicate with others. Since claw is so heavy, it quickly tires. Difficult to aim because it's too big. So yeah, so I'll at least say it is car level without a doubt. I mean, I would imagine a fast enough moving car is probably going through a building, and if this is the as much horsepower as the fastest of drag racing cars that are easily, you know, outspeeding any regular pedestrian car, I'd say Kingler can be building level. The basest minimum level of building level, but building level nonetheless, just based off of its actual strength alone. And now we're on number 100 finally. A couple left to go. Gonna try and continue picking up the pace here, guys. We got Voltorb here. Usually found in power plants, easily mistaken for a Pokeball and have zapped many people. It will self-destruct with little stimulus. If the ground is uneven, a sudden jolt from hitting a bump can cause it to explode. It explodes at the slightest of shocks, and it's rumored that it was first created when a Pokeball was exposed to a powerful pulse of energy. It looks just like a Pokeball. Voltorb was first sighted at a company that manufactures Pokeballs. An enigmatic Pokemon that happens to bear a resemblance to a Pokeball. When excited, it discharges the electric current and has stored it in its belly. So I would say human level with the electricity. It shocks people and can definitely shock people and, you know, self-destruct and cause harm. And I'm going to imagine Electrode might even be larger just because of the amount of explosion. It throws electric energy under very high pressure, and it often explodes with little to no provocation. It is dangerous. If it has too much electricity and nothing to do, it amuses itself by exploding. On days when lightning strikes, you can see this Pokemon exploding all over the place from eating too much electricity. It's nicknamed the Bomb Ball. Even the slightest shock could trigger a huge explosion. I'll say streetcar level, just because it's a bigger explosion. Next, we've got Execute. Let's see here. Often mistaken for eggs. When disturbed, they quickly gather and attack in swarms. The shell is durable, but even if it cracks, it can survive without spilling the contents. 6 eggs attract each other and spin around, with cracks instantly increasingly appearing on the eggs. Execute is close to evolution. It says they attack, but I don't know if they would really be that strong. It's often hunted by a Crabrawler, but it uses its psychokinesis to drive it off. Communicates with others of its kind via telepathy. Gets nervous when they're not in a group of 6. I'm gonna say Execute is harmless. It can use psychic abilities that could potentially, you know, push people away, but it's not killing anyone, right? Executor might be different. Legend has it on rare occasions, one of its heads will drop off and continue on as Execute. Each of the nuts has a face and a will of its own. Its heads grow larger from exposure to sunlight. It's called the Walking Jungle. They are friendly and never appear to squabble. Its cries are very noisy, but it's because each of the 3 heads thinks about whatever it likes. When they work together, Executor's 3 heads can put out powerful psychic energy. Nope, not a big deal. I'm gonna say Executor is also harmless. This tier list is looking fucking wild to me. Look how small it gets going forward. All right, we got Cubone next. Because it never removes its skull helmet, no one has ever seen this Pokemon's face. Its cries echo inside the skull and come out as a sad melody. Doesn't look like it's anything to worry about. All right, Cubone is harmless. Marowak, however, might be a problem. The bone it holds is its key weapon. It throws the bone skillfully like a boomerang to KO targets. It's grown more vicious over its ages, and it has been seen pounding boulders with its bone it carries in order to tap out messages to others. Its temperament turned ferocious when it began to use bones. It can throw the bone skillfully like a boomerang to KO targets. They have nearly 50 different rhythmic patterns. Nope. Okay, so I'll give Marowak human level, because if you can knock someone unconscious, there's always the chance that you can accidentally kill them. So I'm gonna be willing to give Marowak human if it really hits someone in the brain in the right way, but not a really big issue of a Pokemon line whatsoever. Now that may change as we get into the 2 fucking martial arts Pokemon, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, who I'm going to imagine are definitely at least human level. I'm hoping their kicks and punches are definitely gonna be willing to fucking destroy a human being. Not that I hope Pokemon are killing people, but just that I want to give some of these later tier Pokemon, I feel like are gonna be the heavier hitters for sure. We've seen some potential city level with Rhydon. I think Gyarados might even be a potential city level. When in a hurry, its legs lengthen progressively and it runs smoothly with extra long loping strides. When kicking, the sole of its foot turns as hard as a diamond on impact and destroys its enemy. Well, there you go right there. Diamond fucking kicks. We've got building level, baby. It can kick in succession from any position. If it starts kicking repeatedly, both legs will stretch even longer to strike a fleeing foe, and it is also called the Kickmaster. Using its spring-like legs, it bowls over foes with devastating kicks, and after battle it rubs down its legs and loosens the muscles to overcome fatigue. Its stretchy legs allow it to hit a distant foe with rising kicks. Honestly, with the stretching of the kicks and the way that it can throw multiple kicks in succession from any position, first-time foes are startled by its extensive reach. It's able to bowl over foes, and it's diamond hard, and let's say it just does like a big spiral kick. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna move Hitmonlee up. I'm gonna move Hitmonlee up to City Block. I think just based off the fact that its feet are fucking diamond tipped, easily blowing through entire buildings in and of itself, and they're springs, and he can whip them around, throw multiple of them in succession. I think I could literally see this man just hop up, start throwing his feet around, and start taking down entire neighborhoods, bro. I don't think it's crazy to say Hitmonlee is City Block. Hitmonchan might be the weaker brother. Let's see. When apparently doing nothing, it fires punches in lightning fast volleys that are impossible to see. It can punch its way through a concrete wall in the same way as a drill. Its punches slice the air itself, and even a slight graze could cause a burn. Woof. The spirit of a pro boxer has infused inside of this Pokemon with lightning fast volleys that are impossible to see. Its arm twisting punches it throws pulverize even concrete itself. It throws punches faster than a bullet train. So yeah, I think while it is weaker, building level for sure. I think Hitmonlee actually does outrank Hitmonchan just because of its range and the fact that it can throw kicks off more violently for sure, without a doubt. Let's go to Lickitung, who, I mean, besides being a huge predator, in more ways than one, might even just be harmless. Its tongue can extend like a chameleon. It leaves a tingling sensation when it licks enemies. Its licks can cause paralysis. Oh shit. Its gooey saliva sticks to anything, so it's useful. Whenever Lickitung comes across something new, it will unfailingly give it a lick. It does this because it memorizes things by texture and taste. I don't see anything about getting swallowed, but it looks like you do get paralyzed. If you don't clean off the spot where it's licked you, you'll break out in a rash. Its licks can cause paralysis. An intense itch will set in, and the itch will never go away if you don't clean it off. Oh, nope, here you go. Yep, you're right. This Pokemon paralyzes its prey with a lick from its long tongue, then swallows the prey whole. Bug Pokemon are Lickitung's main food source, but yeah, I'm willing to give it human off of that. The paralyzation, you get put in a coma, it leaves you there forever, you starve to death. Terrible tragedy. Or, you know, it swallows you whole if you're small enough, like a small child. Unfortunate. Now, we've got coughing and wheezing, and just like Grimer and Muck, these guys will probably just be human level, just for the toxicity that it releases. It stores several kinds of toxic gas in its body, and it's prone to exploding without warning, can expand and explode without warning. Yeesh, okay, the explosion might actually level it up. Raises the toxicity of its internal gases and jets them out from all over its body. This Pokemon can also overinflate and explode. It's prone to exploding without warning, but how strong is that explosion? It can cause massive explosions with its balloon-shaped body. It misses the toxins with raw garbage. It mixes its toxins with raw garbage to set off a chemical reaction that results in a terribly powerful poison gas. The gases not only smell, they're explosive. All right, we'll put coughing at, yeah, we'll definitely do Johto next. We'll do Coughing Streetcar with his terrible and powerful toxic poison, as well as his ability to cause humongous explosions, which seem to be better than Voltorb, who just seems to be like tiny explosions here or there that might be like, oh shit, I'm blown up. Whereas Coughing, this seems to be like a huge explosion. It's a problem. And Wheezing, I'm going to imagine same issue. When two kinds of poison gases meet, two Coughings fuse into a Wheezing over many years. Constantly mixes its poisonous gases, diluting them to be the highest level. The more gases that are mixed, the more powerful its toxins become. This Pokemon will find a dirty, unkept house and make it its home. At night when the people are asleep, it will go through the trash. Wheezing alternately shrinks and inflates its twin bodies to mix together toxic gases inside. The more gases are mixed, the more powerful the toxins become. Though very rare, triplets have been found. Yeah, so we'll keep it streetcar level because of the explosions. All right, Rhydon and Rhyhorn, do not disappoint me. What are you guys cooking with, y'all? Its massive bones are 1,000 times harder than human bones, and it can easily knock a trailer flying. It won't stop running until it falls asleep once it charges, and it can only charge and run in one direction. It charges and destroys all obstacles in front of it. It smashes everything in its path. Even if it rushes headlong into a block of steel, it won't even be bothered. Strong but not too bright, this Pokemon can shatter even a skyscraper with its charging tackles. When it butts heads with a mountain, it is the mountain that shatters. Oh my god, and Legends Arceus with the insane, unreal level up. What the hell, dog? Rhyhorn immediately just went from city block to mountain level just from Legends Arceus. Wow. I don't think we should take Legend Arceus that seriously, though. I'm willing to cut it in the middle and make Rhyhorn town city level. Because if we're saying it can topple entire fucking skyscrapers and not stop, it's going through whole towns in one single ram, right? It's going through whole towns in one single ram. Even if you want to say the mountain is hyperbole, because that's the only reference of it shattering a mountain, I think we can go ahead and say Rhyhorn sits right in the middle there. Unreal. That's that fucking insane Pokedex lore coming in clutch. Rhyhorn just fucking casually out-leveled 90 to 80% of the Pokedex. Insane. Rhydon, are you leveling us up to mountain? It is capable of living in molten lava of 3,600 degrees. Its armor-like hide even repels molten lava. It could easily shatter even a diamond in the rough. Rhydon's horn can crush even uncut diamond. One sleeping blow of its tail can topple a building, and this Pokemon's hide is tough. Even direct cannon hits don't leave a scratch. Has a horn that serves as a drill. It's used for destroying rocks and boulders, and this Pokemon occasionally rams into steams of magma, but the armor-like hide prevents it from feeling the heat. It punches holes through boulders with its horn. Its brain developed after it stood on its hind legs, rapidly rotates its horn to bore through bedrock. It swaggers around volcanic regions, protected from the lava's heat by its tough armor-like hide. Yeah, I'm willing to say by the 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit, melt from lava. 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit, which can melt sand itself. Yeah, it's right on his mountain level without a doubt. The volcanic glaze is unreal because lava melts sand itself at 3,100 degrees Fahrenheit, and Rhydon's hide is capable of withstanding molten lava at 3,600 degrees. So like, not only is his hide more powerful than lava that's melting all like mountain level without a doubt. Rhydon sits right next to Machamp. Sits right next to Machamp on mountain level. I did not think Rhyhorn and Rhydon were gonna come in like that, which is just insane. I didn't see that coming at all. That is just fucking ridiculous. That they break the scale so easily. You just see how some of these Pokemon just break everything with their Pokédex entries in no time. We've got Chansey next, which I don't know. Chansey should probably be harmless if I had to imagine, right? Walks carefully to prevent its egg from breaking, extremely fast at running away, brings happiness to the trainer who catches it. It can rarely be found. The eggs are delicious. They are easily and eagerly devoured by people who have even lost their appetite. Well, that's sad. It heals injured Pokemon. They're fast runners and also very few in number. The population of Chansey remains very small. Yeah, no, Chansey is harmless. Not a single thing to worry about when it comes to Chansey. They'll just run away from you, or if you do catch one, they'll bring you pure happiness. We've got Tangela, who, unless has like poisonous strands, I think he should be fine. Swathed with wide vines that are similar to seaweed. His vines are said to never stop growing. They effectively unnerve its foes. It literally is just, he's just a weird guy. He makes you uncomfortable because he's just sloppy and slimy. His vines are snapped off without pain. It can entangle anything that gets close. No one has seen the face hidden behind the growth of vines. It's known to be ticklish. Their subtle shaking is ticklish if you get ensnared. So even if it wraps around you, it's just ticklish. It's not even like they're gonna wrap and boa constrict you, right? Tangela is harmless. Magmar and Electabuzz are sleepers as well. Let's see it. We're coming up on the end. We got Kangaskhan coming up here. The infant rarely ventures out of its mother's protective pouch. Adult keeps a close eye on the youngster. It never gives up during battle, no matter how badly wounded it is. Lets the baby out to play only when it feels safe. You must never disturb it or attempt to catch it. The only time the mother is heard to cry wildly. It has zero forgiveness for those who harm its child and will beat them down. I'm going to give Kangaskhan human level just based off of the fact that just based off its Pokedex entries, it's implied if you mess with its young, it will kick the shit out of you. And yeah, I think Kangaskhan probably could fucking beat the brakes off of you and cause head trauma and kill you. So yeah, I wouldn't mess with a Kangaskhan. I would say they're probably at least human level. Would Flareon be considered a sleeper? I mean, maybe. Honestly, Flareon's actually probably a pretty good point. Flareon might be just fire type enough to be OP. But right now we got Horsey coming up next. Known to shoot down flying bugs with precision blasts of ink from the surface of its water. It can vigorously spray water or a special type of ink from its mouth. When in a safe location, they can be seen playfully tangling the tails, eat small insects and moss off of rocks. Anchors itself by wrapping its tail around rocks or coral. Sprays dense black ink from its mouth to try and escape. Mostly harmless. Yeah, just sprays ink to try and get away. So Horsey is harmless. Put a Ditto tier in the very middle. Honestly, Ditto could be anything. It just depends on what Pokemon it's fucking stealing. Ditto is like his own tier, right? Ditto is like special, probably. We got Seadra. Capable of swimming backwards by rapidly flapping its wing-like pectoral fins. It hooks its tail to coral to stay in place. Its fins and bones are highly valued as ingredients in herbal medicine. Damn. Oh, it's got toxic spikes to fend off the intruder. The whirlpools are strong enough to swallow even fishing boats. The Pokemon then weakens prey with these currents and then swallow it whole. Oh yeah, Seadra is for sure human level at least. The poisonous barbs all over its body are highly valued as ingredients for making traditional herbal medicine. It shows no mercy to anything approaching its nest. Carelessly trying to touch it could cause fainting from its spikes. The whirlpools are strong enough to swallow even fishing boats. Damn, if it can make whirlpools that swallow fishing boats, yeah, at least street car level. That's a level up big time. You get the human poison and then you can make the whirlpool that fucks up a car or a vehicle in general. W for Seadra. Up next, we've got Goldeen. Its tail fin billows like an elegant ballroom dress, giving it the nickname of the Water Queen. Searches for the perfect mate. However, don't let your guard down around this Pokemon. It could ram you powerfully with its horn. Ha! It's gonna fucking stab you and impale you. Imagine getting impaled by a Goldeen. Can swim at a speed of 5 knots. It metes out staggering damage with its single horn. It can jab powerfully with its horn. Don't let your guard down. It will shatter even the thickest of glass with one ram of its horn and make its escape. Definitely at least human level. It will strike back with its sharp horn at 5 knots of speed. All right, and Seeking. 9 kilometers per hour, that's fast enough to stab your ass. That's all I'm saying. In the autumn spawning season, they can be seen swimming powerfully up rivers and creeks. Using its horn, it bores holes in riverbed boulders, making nests to prevent its eggs from washing away. I mean, if it's breaking through boulders, street car level at least. Can swim powerfully up rivers and creeks. It defends its eggs with its life. It lives in hollowed rocks in streams. Yep. Okay. So Seeking is street car level. Has Seeking ever gotten an extra evolution? They gave Seadra Kingdra, but never gave Seeking anything. Huh. After all this time, I feel like that's a Pokemon that could use a fucking evolve. But I mean, maybe we'll get the Dunsparce evolution before that ever happens. Dunsparce, the one fucking Pokemon that could probably have so much done with it, but every region, nothing ever gets done with it. Staryu, baby. An enigmatic Pokemon that can effortlessly regenerate any appendage it loses in battle. It can grow back fully even if it's chopped to bits. The center of its body slowly flickers with the same rhythm as a human heartbeat. If you go to a beach toward the end of the summer, the glowing cores of these Pokemon look like the stars in the sky. So it looks like besides regenerating, it's just a regular starfish. Nothing too crazy. So Staryu, harmless. Did I play Scarlet and Violet? I did in fact play Scarlet and Violet. We've got Starmie coming up next. Its central glow glows with the 7 colors of the rainbow. Some people value the core as a gem. People think it's communicating when it glows in 7 colors. Regardless of the environment it lives on, its body grows to form a symmetrical geometric shape. It can send electric waves into outer space. Oh, not yet. I'm just guessing Mega Seeking could be a thing in the new game. Swims through the water by spinning its star-shaped body as if it were a propeller on a ship. The core at the center of this Pokemon's body glows in 7 colors. The propeller of a ship can do at least damage to a street, I'm sure. I've seen boat propellers do some serious damage. Yeah, I'll give Starmie street level. Damn, all these level 2 water evolutions, dog. Seadra, Seeking, Starmie, street level. Nothing impressive about him. What's Mr. Mime cooking up with? If interrupted while miming, it will slap around the offender with its broad hands. Oh, damn. Makes enemies believe something exists that it really doesn't, and it gains the ability to create invisible objects as it matures. It gestures and motions convince watchers that something unseeable actually exists. Once it is believed, it will exist as if it was a real thing. It will double slap the offender with its broad hands if it's interrupted while miming. It shapes an invisible wall by minutely vibrating its fingertips to stop molecules in the air. Slaps aren't even said to do damage, so Mr. Mime is mostly harmless. I'm not even gonna say that, you know, it's Mr. Mime is human level. It's gonna smack you around, but is it gonna kill you? Probably not. Scyther, however, those swords look like they would cut right through you. With ninja-like agility and speed, it can create an illusion that there is more than one of them. It leaps out of tall grass and slices prey with its scythes. The movement looks like that of a ninja. It moves too fast for the human eye to track. That's crazy. It moves at hypersonic speed. This is probably the fastest Pokemon we've seen so far. It moves at least Mach 5. It slashes through grass with its sharp sides, moving too fast. It hides in the grass. It moves so fast, the opponent does not even know what it knocked down. Its blazing speed enhances the effectiveness of the twin sights on its forearms. They're so effective they can slice through thick logs in one wicked stroke. The sharp sides on its forearms become increasingly sharp by cutting through hard objects. With a single slice, Scyther can fell a massive tree. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give Scyther streetcar level, at least with its Mach 5 speed and its sharpness of its blades. Without a doubt, street level at least. I almost want to give it building level, but there's not enough glaze to be found in these Pokédex. Like logs and hard surfaces, I need a little bit more than that. Need a little bit more than that. I didn't know Scyther got a different evolution in Gen 8. Cleavor? Wild, bro. Never seen that before in my life. That's news to me. How big are massive trees? Big enough for me to think it's enough to compare to a street or a car. We've got Jinx here. It's Jinx has unfortunately not aged well, but we'll move on. It seductively wiggles its hips as it walks, and it can cause people to dance in unison. It appears to alter the rhythm depending on how it's feeling. Walks rhythmically. Research is underway to determine what is being said. Its motions are so bouncingly alluring, people seeing it are compelled to shake their hips without noticing. The price movements of Jinx living in Alola are truly wonderful. There are musicians who compose songs for Jinx to sing. It's a Legend Arceus evolution. So Jinx is mostly harmless. Good to know. And all right, now we've got some of the strongest Pokemon, standalone Pokemon, right? We've got Electabuzz and Magmar, who were said to be sleepers. Lapras, Gyarados is coming up. Tauros, we've got Snorlax and some legendaries coming up. Aerodactyl, nothing but big hitters. So let's see, can we reach a region destroyer, a planet destroyer, or even a dimension destroyer? Let's see. Electabuzz, are you a sleeper? Normally found near power plants, and they can wander away and cause major blackouts in cities. Ooh. If a major power outage occurs, it's certain this Pokemon has eaten electricity at the plant. Getting close to it will make your hair stand up. When a storm arrives, gangs of this Pokemon compete with each other to scale heights that are likely to be stricken by lightning bolts, and some towns use Electabuzz in place of lightning rods. If it can handle lightning bolts, it might actually just be street level. It might actually not be anything better than that. When a storm arrives, half of all sudden blackouts are caused by Electabuzzes. Electricity leaks from it in amounts far greater than the amount of electricity it eats. Feeds on electrical energy during sudden showers beneath looming thunderclouds. One can observe Electabuzz scaling tall trees. Electabuzz was disappointing. Street level, just because it can, handle regular actual lightning bolts that can damage the street, so it could probably let that electricity out just like Pikachu can. But yeah, Electabuzz kind of disappointing, Electabuzz. But we've got Magmar as the red version exclusive, or green, other way around. Let's go. What are you cooking with, Magmar? Its body is always cloaked in flames, and it was born in an active volcano. It blows scorching flames to make the environment suitable for itself, and its body gives off wavering, rippling glare that is similar to the sun. It can heal itself by dipping its wounds in lava, and it blows out intensely hot flames all over its body to intimidate its opponent. This Pokemon's fiery bursts create heat waves that ignite grass and trees in its surroundings. This fire breather's body temperature is nearly 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Heat waves form around its body, making it hard to see clearly. It's crazy because the body temperature is 2,200, whereas Rhydon was able to fight against 3600 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, Magmar is just 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. That doesn't mean his fire is that hot. This is looking pretty weak to me. It doesn't calm down until its opponent has burned to ash. It might just be human level, so wouldn't even burn iron. Would just barely. Yeah. Yikes. Street tier is hot enough? I mean, is it though? If it can't even burn, how hot to melt concrete? Decomposition starts at 1500 degrees, and the melting range of cement concrete is 2100 to 2192. Just barely makes it. Just barely makes street level. Like, barely. And again, that's just his body temperature. That's not even the flames that he gives off. So, I mean, yeah. Very lowest level of streetcar victim. Still eradicate victim. It's insane to think all of the Pokemon that are eradicate victims. Up next is Pinsir. Come on, we need something. We need you to step up and show something surprising. If it fails to crush the victim in its pincers, it will swing it around and toss it hard. Its prey in its pincers, it grips its prey in its pincers and squeezes hard. Damn, it might not even be able to it might not even be able to crush a human. It can grip a foe weighing twice its weight in its horns and easily lift it. This Pokemon's movements turn sluggish. These thorns are driven deeply into the foe's body, making it tough for the foe to escape. Once they grip an enemy, they won't release until the foe is torn. If it fails to crush the foe, it will swing it around and toss the opponent. When it can't tear, it tosses far. One solid blow from its horns is enough to split apart a large tree. Its greatest rival is Alola Vikavolt. You know what? Honestly, human level. Sad. Just barely being able to split a tree with like a good solid blow isn't good enough for me to justify Street and Car. The fact that there's also moments where it's saying that it might not be able to actually crush victims with its pincers. Nah, Pinsir is given just human level for me, not actually an issue, which is just, damn, again, I would have thought Electabuzz, Magmar, Pinsir, Pokemon like this would be like the top of the echelon. Next up is Tauros, and Tauros, you gotta save the day here, man. Save the day for me, Tauros. When it targets an enemy, it charges ferociously while whipping its body with long tails. Once running, it won't stop until it hits something, and the herd's protector takes pride in its battle-scarred horns. After heightening its will to fight by whipping itself with its 3 tails, it charges at full speed. What a fuck. So the Tauros is a masochist. If there's no opponent for Tauros to battle, it will charge at thick trees and knock them down to calm itself. No, Tauros, come on! Although it's known to be a fierce Pokemon, Tauros in the Alola region are said to possess a measure of calmness. Rad Pokemon with lots of stamina. It's famous for its violent nature. It charges furiously while whipping its body with long tails. They fight by locking horns. Yeah. Nah, this one you're not getting it. You're not getting me to street level on that one. You're just not getting me to street level on that one. It can ram a tree and maybe knock it down. Thick trees, I think it's street tier. No, not good enough for me. It's not even like it destroys the tree. It rams it until it knocks it down. Not good enough for me. Now, Magikarp is up next. I shouldn't even really have to look at its Pokédex entry. Probably almost guaranteed to be harmless. Somewhat stronger than the horribly weak descendants that exist today. It can be found swimming in seas, lakes, can jump high but never more than 7 feet, flopping and splashing. As a result, it's considered to be weak. However, it's actually a very hardy Pokemon that can survive in any body of water no matter how polluted. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. That's crazy. No one knows why it managed to survive. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. I mean, yeah, I don't need to read every it's the most weakest and pathetic Pokemon in the world more times than that. Now, Gyarados, I know, is gonna be a heavy hitter. Rarely seen in the wild, huge and vicious, and it is capable of destroying entire cities in a rage. That's the kind of Pokédex entries we like to see, baby. That's the Pokédex entries we like to see. Straight and to the point, not even up for debate. It says it right there, plain and simple. Gyarados is destroying cities at ease. Thank God. Known for totally destroying cities in ancient times. They say that during past wars, Gyarados would appear and leave blazing ruins in its wake. It remains enraged until it demolishes everything around it. Its ferociously violent blood doesn't calm until it's burned everything down. There are records of this Pokemon's rampages lasting a whole month. The hyper beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets, and it's capable of destroying entire cities in range. When humans begin to fight, it will appear and burn everything to the ground with intense hot flames. Once it appears, its rage never settles until it has razed the fields and mountains around it. Oh, there you go. There's the glaze up right there. Gyarados is burning down mountains. Oh yeah. And the fact that it's burning down cities, plural, and its rampage can last for months, I'm comfortable giving it mountain level. It razes fields and mountains around it. Raze the village when violence flared, will burn everything down even in a harsh storm, and appears to leave nothing but blazing ruins in its wake. More mountain tiers than city tiers. I know, how weird is that, right? It fires hyper beams in all directions, burning the surrounding area to ash. There are some regions where it's called a deity of destruction. Yeah, yikes. Yep. Gyarados is that guy. Mountain level without a doubt. Pokemon that has been overhunted almost to extinction. It can ferry people across the water. A gentle soul that can read the minds of people. It can ferry people across the sea on its back. It may sing an enchanted cry if it's in a good mood. High intelligence enables it to understand human speech. Their number has dwindled. It's sad that Laprases are going extinct. So not much said about its about a Lapras's ability. So Lapras seem to be pretty harmless, but I would imagine that Lapras, just based off of how big they are, 485 pounds, 8 feet. Yeah, a Lapras could kill a human. It's the same kind of deal as like I gave to Venusaur. Like nothing in Venusaur's Pokédex gives the idea that it's a dangerous animal, but obviously it could kill if it needed to. And I think Lapras is the same. Even if it accidentally killed someone by landing on it and crushing it, yeah, Lapras very easily, are at least human level, if nothing else. Ditto gets its own like special tier, I guess. Ditto is a wild card. Ditto is just gonna go wherever the highest Pokemon goes, honestly, just because it can literally transform into anything. So I'm just gonna move Ditto next to whatever the highest tier Pokemon is, and I hope that's fair. But yeah, it can just transform itself into literally any enemy. Give Ditto a Ditto tier? I think there's just too many tiers. I don't want to do another one, honestly. I really, really don't. At the very top, yeah, maybe. Yeah, and obviously Ditto can just change itself, transform itself. That's what literally almost everything says, We've got Eevee up next, and Eevee might be harmless, I imagine. Its genetic code is irregular, and it may mutate if exposed to radiation from element stones. There are only a few alive. Radiation causes Pokemon to evolve. It has the ability to alter the composition of its body to suit its surrounding environment. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Eevee is harmless. I could kick an Eevee in the face. All right, but let's see its first 3 evolutions: Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. What's Vaporeon cooking with? Lives close to water. Its long tail is ridged with a fin that's often mistaken for a mermaid's. Its cellular structure is similar to water molecules. It will melt away and become invisible in water, which is crazy. Blends with water perfectly. Often mistaken for a mermaid, it can invisibly melt away into water. When its fins begin to tremble rapidly, that means rain will fall in a few hours. Well, Vaporeon is harmless. No threat, no worries. Let's see what Jolteon's cooking with. Can you live at least to the other electric types? It accumulates negative ions in the atmosphere to blast out 10,000 volt lightning bolts. A sensitive Pokemon that easily becomes sad or angry. Every time its mood changes, it charges up power. The weak electric charges emitted by its cells launches wicked lightning bolts. Power amplified by the static electricity of its fur enable this Pokemon to drop thunderbolts. So yeah, it looks like it's probably the same as the other electric types, just street level at best. Use electricity to straighten out its fur and launch it in small bunches. Yeah, Jolteon, just like the other electric types, street car level, nothing major. Think Flareon's pretty strong. Let's hope that fire typing is doing numbers. When storing thermal energy in its body, its temperature can soar over 1600 degrees. It has a flame chamber inside of its body, and when it inhales, it blows out fire that is over 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's building level, without a doubt. When it catches prey or finds berries, it breathes fire on them until they're all well done. Yeah, hotter than Magmar. Can blow out flames almost comparable to Rhydon's durability, which is OP. I would honestly even say that 3000, that's building level at least. Comparable to Charizard, just able to just completely burn and melt down a building. So yeah, Flareon is lore-wise the strongest evolution. Vaporeon's harmless, Jolteon's street and car level, and Flareon is building level. Next up, we've got Porygon, and I'm going to imagine that Porygon is most likely harmless, considering it's literally just data. Pokemon that consists entirely of programming code, capable of moving freely in cyberspace. People anticipate it can fly into space. None have managed the feat yet. People are eager to try it in any environment since it doesn't breathe. Copyright protected, so it cannot be duplicated by copying. That's crazy. Porygon was the original NFT. Many parts of it have since become obsolete. This Pokemon was created using the cutting edge science of 20 years ago, but so many parts of it have become obsolete, which is crazy to think about, that a Pokemon can go obsolete. Porygon was in Legends Arceus. That's even weirder. But yeah, Porygon harmless right now. And then we've got the fossil Pokemon, Omanite and Omastar. What are these ancient Pokemon cooking with? It swims cleverly by twisting its 10 tentacles about, stores air in its shell to sink and rise in water. If attacked by an enemy, it withdraws itself inside of its hard shell, swims by twisting its 10 tentacles about. It swam the ancient seas. Its fossils have been found bearing bite marks from Archeops, so apparently Archeops preyed on it. Basically harmless. Omanite is harmless, nothing to worry about. We've got Omastar, prehistoric Pokemon that died out when its heavy shell made it impossible to catch prey. It literally went extinct because it couldn't reach nearby food, which is crazy. It eats the prey by tearing at it with sharp fangs. Its shell grew too large and heavy, causing its movements to become too slow. Once it snares its prey, it bites, but if it even actually manages to do that, it's apparently a distant ancestor of Octillery. Unable to catch food because it was so bad. Yeah, okay. Even though it probably could kill, I'm gonna go ahead and say fucking harmless, dog. It literally got so big that it died because it couldn't eat anymore. We've got Kabuto, not from Naruto, from Pokemon. A Pokemon resurrected from a fossil found on what was once the ocean floor. Uses the eyes on its back while hiding. In extremely rare cases, living examples have been discovered. Hasn't changed at all for 300 million years. Protects itself with its large, hard shell. The strength feat of cracking a Shelter's shell is pretty good, though. When did it crack a Shelter's shell? Did I miss that part? Oh, apparently it cracked Shelter's shell with sharp fangs and sucked out the insides. Ah, okay. All right. Kabuto is harmless. Doesn't do shit but stay on the ocean floor. It's basically a hermit crab. And then you've got Kabutops, which is the cooler fossil Pokemon of the two, in my opinion. It slices its prey with its sharp sickles and drinks the body fluids. Okay, so it can cut you open and suck out your fucking intestines. That's pretty human level to me. This Pokemon came on land because its prey adapted to life on land. Was apparently evolving from being a water dweller to living on land, is evident from the beginnings of change in its gills and legs. Kabutops were aggressive Pokemon that inhabited warm seas. All right, so Kabutops gets human level, at least, because it can fucking cut you open and suck out your guts. And we're down to just some of the most powerful Pokemon of all time. Let's do it, guys, and let's finish this shit. Aerodactyl. A prehistoric Pokemon that goes right for the enemy's throat with its serrated saw-like fangs. Resurrected using DNA taken from amber, it appears to have flown by spreading its wings and gliding. It flies the ancient skies while shrieking high-pitched cries. Yeah, and it goes for its throat with saw-like fangs. So at the very least, it's human level. A widely accepted theory is that it went extinct due to a large meteor impact. It exhibited ferocity that was greater than expected. Apparently, even modern technology is incapable of producing a perfectly restored specimen. Aerodactyl's saw-like fangs can shred skin to tatters, even the skin of steel-type Pokemon. All right, so we'll give it street car level at least, based off of the steel-type feat. It almost was just human, but thankfully it got street car at the very end with the steel type, with being able to gnaw through steel types. So good for that. Snorlax. Let's see if yellow was right. Is Snorlax going to be planetary? Very lazy, just eats and sleeps. It can even eat things off the ground. When it's done eating, it goes promptly to sleep. It eats nearly 900 pounds a day, which is fucking insane. Even Muck's poison is nothing more than a hint of spice to its tongue. Glutton appears in villages without warning and devours the entirety of their rice granaries. Such occurrences have long been counted among the gravest of disasters. 1,000 pounds. So, unfortunately, believe it or not, all Snorlax is gonna be able to get is streetcar level. Because even weighing 1,000 pounds, and jumping up to the ground, even if he was to fall on top of a house or something, it wouldn't be enough to destroy the entire house. It would cause damage to the house, but it wouldn't destroy the whole house or cause a quake that would just blow up the whole thing. So believe it or not, Snorlax, despite, you know, everything going, you know, going for him, is at best a Raticate victim. At best, a Raticate victim, which is just fucking ridiculous. As for the legendary birds, I'm going to have to imagine they should all be at least island to region level, right? Well, hold on. Island and region are actually two different things here, because let's do region above island, because we do know islands exist that aren't just regions. Legendary bird that is said to appear to doom people who are lost in icy mountains. It freezes water that's contained in winter air and makes it snow. It chills moisture in the atmosphere to create snow while flying. As it flies through the sky, it cools the air. It's a legendary bird Pokemon that can control ice. The flapping of its wings chill the air, and as a result, it says when this Pokemon flies, snow will fall. It can create blizzards by freezing moisture in the atmosphere. It freezes water that is contained in winter air and makes it snow. Articuno flies over snowy mountains, its long tail fluttering along behind it. Articuno is said to live in snowy mountains riddled with permafrost. This legendary bird Pokemon can create blizzards by freezing moisture in the air. So the main reason why I would want to give like the Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres probably at least mountain to island level is because they have been shown, and they completely, like, Articuno, whatever area Articuno is in, its blizzard and the ice that it controls envelops that entire area. So like if we're giving it like, you know, building or street tier max, it's just tough to say. I feel like being legendary Pokemon make them OP. Like, let's see, Zapdos here. Said to appear from clouds while dropping enormous lightning bolts, can turn the entire sky dark while lightning showers down. It freely controls lightning bolts, usually lives in thunderclouds. Nesting in dark depths of pitch black thunderclouds, rubs its feathers together, lightning will fall immediately after. Well, sheesh. Maybe I'm wrong. Every flap of its wings creates a dazzling flash of flames that can turn the entire night sky red. It is said to bring early spring to the wintry lands it visits. It is said to migrate from south along with the spring, has the ability to control fire. If this Pokemon is injured, it can dip its body into molten magma. Its appearance indicates the coming of spring. Listen, I might get hate for this, but I feel like the legendary Pokemon need to all at least be island level because they all control islands. Their Pokedex lore doesn't say that, and I know I should be ranking them by Pokedex lore, but the very idea that Articuno can control all the ice around an entire mountain, Zapdos can control all of the lightning in an entire, you know, area. Same with Moltres, it completely turns an entire land to spring when they show up. Like, I think their level of power is more mythological than the mountains that we're talking about here. Like, I'm willing to stake my life on that I think the legendary Pokemon should at the very least be island level. I will forgive you for this, but anyways, what Pokemon is next? Thank you, I appreciate that. Next up is Dratini and the Dragonite line, which, let's see, long considered a mythical Pokemon until recently when a small colony was found living underwater. It repeatedly sheds its skin as it steadily grows longer and it grows larger. During this process, it's protected by a rapid waterfall. It can exceed 6.5 feet in length. It is called a Mirage Pokemon because so few have seen it. So Dratinis are harmless. Dratinis are harmless. What about Dragonairs? Has the ability to change climate conditions. This Pokemon has the power to freely control the weather. When its entire body brightens slightly, the weather changes. It is said to alter weather conditions in its vicinity by discharging energy from the crystals on its neck. Fucking with the weather is OP. From time immemorial, it has been venerated by agricultural peoples as an entity able to control the weather. I'm going to imagine that any Pokemon that can control the weather, similar to the legendary Pokemon, have to be very fucking strong. If they're controlling the weather, that means they are at least controlling the weather for an entire town. And you know what? I'm willing to give Dragonair town and city. If they can create a fucking hurricane around an entire town, city block, Dragonair is somewhere in there. But I think being able to control the weather is an OP feat. The fact that you can control the weather at all and change the climate to be hot, cold, rainy, stormy, thundery, haily, Dragonair is OP. Articuno can only control the winter. Dragonair is better than that fraud. I hear that. Let's see what Dragonite is cooking with. Again, the legendary Pokemon, I'm not going to be upset if people think I'm wrong on that. I think just based on the legendary idea, they should be pretty OP. An extremely rare marine Pokemon, its intelligence is said to match that of humans. It is said that this Pokemon constantly flies over the immense seas and rescues drowning people. It has an impressive build that lets it freely fly over raging seas without trouble. It is capable of circling the globe in 16 hours. That's OP. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably just around the same level as Dragonair. Probably just around the exact same level as Dragonair, Town City. All right, and the moment of truth. Mewtwo and Mew, our final 2 Pokemon, said to be the strongest Pokemon still to the day. It was created by a scientist after years of horrific gene splicing. Its DNA is almost the same as Mew's, however, its size and disposition are vastly different. Because its battle abilities were raised to the ultimate level, it thinks only of defeating its foes. Pokemon whose genetic was repeatedly recombined for research, it turned vicious as a result. It is said to have the most savage heart among Pokemon. It usually remains motionless to conserve energy so that it may unleash its full power in battle. Mewtwo is a Pokemon that was created by genetic manipulation. However, even though the scientific power of humans create this Pokemon's body, they failed to endow Mewtwo with a compassionate heart. The Pokedex, again, same with the other legendary Pokemon, doesn't really say much. However, we know, just based off the lore of Mewtwo, Mewtwo is said to be one of the strongest Pokemon of all time. At the very least, I know a lot of people who scale Mewtwo for planetary, but to be honest with you, if we're saying that Mewtwo is the absolute strongest Pokemon in all of Kanto, then because I don't have enough feats to give him planetary, I'm just comfortable giving Mewtwo the ability to destroy a region, as he's going to be stronger than Articuno and Zapdos and Moltres. And Mew is, of course, going to be on the exact same level as Mewtwo. I've seen arguments that could be made where Mewtwo should be planetary just based off of his comparison to other legendary Pokemon in the series, but because I still plan on going through Johto, because I still plan on going through Hoenn and every future region going forward, as we get more legendaries into this tier list, I'm also not afraid to change Pokemon tiers, right? So like, if we do end up going through Johto and Hoenn and find out that the legendary Pokemon that Mewtwo should be stronger than are stronger than Mewtwo, we can raise Mewtwo up. At least until then, guys, this is our complete tier list, which I think is pretty good. There's a lot of crazy Pokemon I wouldn't have expected to show up in as low of a category as they do. There's a lot of Pokemon who I wouldn't have expected to show up as high as they do. Dragonite moving at the 2.0 speed of sound. I mean, listen, Scyther's only streetcar level and he's Mach 5, so I think Dragonite Town City is pretty fair. Some of these Pokemon were definitely major upsets without a doubt, but hey, you know what? That's part of the fun of going through this. If you have not already, please hit that like button. It really helps the stream way more than you know. And if you enjoy Pokemon content, maybe check out some of my other Pokemon videos that are on the channel. I've got a Pokemon video on red, on blue, on green. So please go check those videos out if you're looking for more Pokemon content. And yeah, I promise I'll be doing the Johto sequel stream super duper soon. Thank you all so much for everything you guys do. I appreciate your support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.